Duncan Vincent with expert commentary, Larry Scoop Carter on the grid and in the pit lane, and Alan Hyde in the BSB studio. BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
A very good morning to you and welcome to a sunny Brands Hatch. Here we go, and we've got the first of our warm-up sessions today on Race Sunday here at Brands Hatch. It's the Pirelli British Sport Bikes out on circuit for 8 minutes. They'll be followed by the R&G Moto 4 British Cup warm-up, the Pirelli National Superstocks Quattro Group British Supersports Zim British Superbikes, and then the 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bikes, and then we go racing from 10:30. All the action here for you on 88.3 FM. It is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki. Let's say a very good morning to our commentary team, to Larry Carter. But first of all, good morning to Duncan Vincent.
Thank you very much, Alan Hyde. That was lovely to hear from you. And the morning starts again. Look at the lovely weather we have here at Brands Hatch. And welcome everybody to the British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli for the morning warm-up sessions. It's great to see so many people already here on the bankings, and the car parks are starting to fill up as we look across the back towards South Bank. And you're right, Alan, it is the Pirelli British Sport Bike Championship on track. I am Duncan Vincent, and it's a pleasure to be here and commentate for everybody at this summer festival that we hit every year. We come to Brands Hatch in July. And Larry Carter, it's 100 years of Brands Hatch. It's 30 years of the British Superbike Championship. And I think we feel privileged to be part of that.
Yeah, good morning, Dunk. Good morning, Alan. Good morning to everybody trackside and listening online via the various streams that we have here ongoing at the British Superbike Championship. Yes, it is. It's a massive privilege to be part of this wonderful series, as ever, here at the Garden of England. And once again, Brands Hatch has delivered with the weather. We've got the glorious sunshine, and temperatures probably a little bit cooler than what they were yesterday, Duncan. It was getting a little bit warm out there on the grid at the start of that second Superbike race. So I think that the riders and teams and you good people around the track here at Brands Hatch, and we're expecting tens of thousands of you here throughout the course of the day, then hopefully it will just be that little bit cooler. But as ever, just make sure that you do take care out there in the sun, because notwithstanding the fact that it seems 25, 26 degrees is getting to be the normal these days, doesn't it? Just make sure that you do take plenty of water on board, and make sure you do cover up. Nice to see that a number of you have the little gazebos, the little tents up and everything else to just get out of that midday sun, as it were.
Well, you had the brunt of it yesterday, Larry. It was a day the temperature went up and up and up, but then it tailed off towards the end of the day.
Quite chilly towards the end. The cloud cover came in, and it did get a little bit chilly, and that will suit the riders. We did hear from a few of them just saying that the track is a little bit slick, and obviously as the track temperature warms up, it doesn't aid the grip. But we had a wonderful session yesterday, and indeed history was made yesterday here at Brands Hatch. We saw the fastest ever lap on a two-wheel motorcycle set by Carl Ride during the Rocket Off Oxygen qualifying yesterday. 1:23.954.
Incredible.
Somebody just said, Scoops just said a 23 around Brands.
Yeah, Larry's made a mistake, clearly, there. It doesn't happen, ladies and gentlemen.
And the thing about it was, when I interviewed Carl Ride afterwards, he says, well, I had probably another tenth in me. He said, I got a little bit of a slide on one of the corners, and he said I could have gone just perhaps a tenth of a second quicker. But a sub 24-minute lap, or 24-second lap, 1:24-second lap around Brands Hatch ain't hanging about. And when we've got Carl Ride doing 23s, he couldn't quite match that in the race. Obviously, to do a one-lap wonder is one thing, but to try and replicate that throughout the course of a 20-lap race is never going to happen.
No, but obviously a lot more fuel on the bike, looking after tyres, various other things. I watched that lap, as you did, Larry, and when he crossed the line, I heard the mic click open from yourself, and I think we both took a second to just make sure what we were reading on screen was correct. But the actual lap itself, it was a proper committed lap.
It was Carl Ride at his best, wasn't it?
It was the edge. It was on the limit. There was nothing left at quite a few of those corners. Westfield was the one that came to mind for me. You could see him rolling into the heart of the corner. The bike was bouncing over the apex. It was on almost half foot coming off, and he drove it down through Dingle Dale. It was Kyle at his best, as you say.
I was half watching the lap on a screen in the garage, but I was half watching Carl's girlfriend Kat as well, because she couldn't watch.
Yeah.
She couldn't watch. She was just kept glancing up at the screen as if, when you're watching a horror film or something like that, and she had to just keep turning away. And it was quite amusing to me just to watch as she was watching her boyfriend put that fastest ever lap around there. Well, it's a long way down from Scotland, isn't it, Dunk?
Yes.
You know that. And as far as poor old Lennon Doherty's concerned, he'll be hoping that it's a shorter trip home, because he has just tumbled across there at Westfield Corner as the dock. He's not having a great season. Is the rider from Logor, I think it is.
Logor.
Just on the fringes of the Knockhill circuit up in your neck of the woods.
Oh, great shame. A long way down. Said rider being assessed, Larry, but we were able to watch him kind of trekking off through the gravel trap. That will hopefully be updated. But what happens in morning warm-up? Well, nothing good ever happens in the morning warm-up. A great team manager once told me that many years ago, and I stand by that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, morning warm-up, people say, what is it all about? Well, yeah, it's just exactly that. We named as what it says on the tin. It's just to warm the riders up to. They've had a sleep since they were last out on track. It just gets the brain back up into race pace and a little bit of a faster action. Perhaps just better set of brake pads in. Perhaps just try a different suspension setting. Perhaps if the wind has changed, not that we have that issue here at Brands Hatch, then it could well be try a different gearing setup, a little click on the suspension, a better chaining, that sort of thing, Dunk. There's very little that they can do. But
it also does this. It gives Ferry flea rackers a really good look at the man who he probably will be racing today. Now, I don't know if young Harrison McKay is aware that he's being tailed by the World Sport Bike Racer as they make their way through and out of Druids. Harrison has had an upturn in pace and form since Snetterton, Larry. He was very fast here, put the bike right at the sharp end. Had a tip-off in the second free practice, but he's now giving Ferry a really, really good, strong look at him as they make their way onto the Grand Prix loop. And unfortunately, that's one of the good things that can happen in morning warm-up. And an update on Lennon Doherty, Larry.
That's what we wanted to see. Yeah, rider okay. And as you rightly pointed out, and we have got the benefit of the closed circuit TV here at the wonderful Brands commentary box, and we can just see that Lennon did pick himself up, dust himself down, and move away. Well, Duncan Vincent has got a number of various other duties to perform over the next hour or so. He has one or two jobs to do for MSV and other bits and pieces, so he is just making his way out of the commentary box. He'll be back in time for the first of the races, but in the meantime, Alan and myself will just take you through this morning's leisurely action as we start the build-up to what is the first of 9 races on the agenda today, and that is at 10:30 when we go for the last chance qualifier race for the Rocket Off BMW F900R Cup runners and riders. We didn't have one of them at Snetterton because quite simply we had a full grid of 40 riders without the need for a last chance repechage, as it were. But here at Brands Hatch we have got the grid through, so we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 riders will be in that, trying to battle for the last 14 places on the grid. So sadly one rider will miss out effectively on the race, the main race, which is scheduled to go for the Rocket Off BMWs at 12:40. But we have got a full day of action here for you, as the checkered flag is now out for the Pirelli British Sport Bikes, and it sees the aforementioned Harrison Mackay, the winner at Snetterton just a couple of weeks ago, who takes fastest time in that one, ahead of the Belgique visitor, and it's a name that you are familiar with here at Brands Hatch. He is in the programme this week because he was a late entry into the championship at Snetterton, and that is the Belgian rider Ferry Flea Rackers, who is currently making his home in the World Championship after a couple of seasons in the UK. A little bit of a guest rider. He's not a wildcard. He does qualify for points and everything else, so he'll be looking to try and maximise his weekend. He did actually tell me at Snetterton that he didn't think he was going to come and do Brands Hatch. They are on a big 8-week summer break in the World Championship, effectively. And when I quizzed him at Snetterton 2 weeks ago, I said, "Mate, we see you in another British Championship race before the end of the season?" He said, "Oh, I don't think so. We're just going to do Snetterton as a one-off, and then probably just enjoy ourselves for the rest of the summer until we go racing again in the World Championship." Well, Lo and behold, when we got the entry list through, we saw that the number 65 on the Bart Racing Suzuki was Ferry Fleeracker, so in the programme he is, and he will be one of the leading contenders as well. In fact, he just manages to top the session there with his last lap, a time of 1:32.076. The times, the count for nothing, the grids have already been set. This morning warm-up, as we mentioned previously, is just to get the riders back up to speed for that one.
And the commentators.
And the commentators, yeah, we've had a sleep since then. When Alan Hyde dragged us to the nightclub last night, ladies and gents, and
tradition.
It's a tradition, isn't it, Brands Hatch? Whereas we managed to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. He was wanting to stay to the bitter end last night, but
celebrating a glorious win for England.
We had to. Me and Duncan Vincent said by 5 o'clock in the morning, Alan, we've had enough. We're going to bed. So believe that if you will. Yeah, that was something, wasn't it? The old. We won't dwell too much on the soccer last night, but yeah, suffice to say that that match had a bit of everything, didn't it? But anyway, that's football. We're here for motorcycle racing, and that's exactly what we'll do. Just a couple of things to draw your attention to. If you're wanting grandstand tickets, and I'm not too sure whether there's still any available for sale, and indeed any other bits and pieces of merchandise or information or whatever, and indeed a copy of the official race programme, then there's various outlets that you can visit, but the one that I would direct you in is the direction of the Megastore, the Brands Hatch Megastore, which is just near the Kentagon restaurant under the Paddock Hill Grandstand Suite. And if you were to go across there and have a chat with the staff across there, they will tell you whether or not there is still any availability on the grandstand seats, which are already starting to fill up, which we can see around the Brands Hatch circuit, the one overlooking the start and finish straight, the traditionally popular Paddock Hill Bend stand, and then the one at the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend, just behind the Halewoods restaurant down there as well. And as we said, if you get yourself a copy of the race programme, that will aid your viewing here today. It is the definitive guide to everything that's going on there. And if you're wandering across for the pit lane walkabout, which is scheduled to go at, looking at that, it's 11:30 today, then the muster point for that is traditionally adjacent to the Megastore at the top of Paddock Hill Bend. And in the programme you will find an autograph page, whereby my challenge to you good people out there is to see how many you can get. Most, if not all, of the Superbike riders will be down there in pit lane for that pit lane walkabout, which is scheduled to go from 11:30 through until 12:25, 11:30 through until 12:25 for the pit lane walkabout. But to get the programme, and there is a page in there, there's a spread in there for the various autographs, and you can try and get as many as you can across here in the pit lane walkabout, page 50 and 51 in the programme. There's other bits and pieces in there as well. There's a spread in the middle whereby we have got two legends with us at Brands Hatch today, and those are the names of Troy Bayliss and James Toseland. Why not see if you can bump into Troy and to James? They will be at the various functions throughout the course of the day, and indeed Alan will be giving you a list of guests across there in the Zin Zone, whereby Dave Neal will be hosting various riders throughout the course of the day. So if you can't get across to pit lane walkabout, or for whatever reason, then if you make a note when your favourite rider might be across there at the Zin Zone, then you can perhaps just grab a quick photograph and autograph and everything else with your particular riders across there. So that concludes the first of the warm-up sessions for the Pirelli British Sport Bikes. Next out on track will be the R&G British 4 Moto Cup, and with that we can hand back to the studio.
Duncan Vincent with expert commentary, Larry Scoop Carter in the pit lane, and Alan Hyde in the BSB studio. This is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
The Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R, the most successful machine in world superbike history, gets a new look for 2026 with new aerodynamic winglets and a sharp, aggressive design. Built for those who rise to the challenge, the pinnacle of the Ninja family is built for champions, whether that's on track or on the road. Available from your local Kawasaki dealer now, so book a demo ride today and discover true adrenaline.
Our R&G, the world leader in damage protection products for motorcycles, is back as the official sponsor to the British Superbike Championship for the 12th year. R&G's damage protection and accessories are used by countless riders and racers around the world. Thousands of applications for hundreds of bikes and are trusted by teams across the BSB paddock. R&G's Pro Engine case covers are now included in the FIM Quality Product Programme. Visit the R&G official technical centre in the paddock to get your protection today and find out more at rg-racing.com. So no matter what you ride with R&G, if you slip it or slide it, you'll still be able to pick it up and ride it.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
Duncan Vincent with expert commentary, Larry Scoop Carter on the grid and in the pit lane, and Alan Hyde in the BSB studio. BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
And Larry mentioned that there are legends here at Brands Hatch. You're not joking. 100 years being celebrated of racing here at Brands Hatch, and of course 30 years of the British Superbike Championship as well. As far as the Meet the Riders area on the Zinn Zone, up on the stage with Dave Neal, interviews taking place. Right, make a note of these times. Troy Bayliss, and on my little flyer for the day's events, it says brackets legend. At 10:30, all of these say brackets legend. 10:45, Tommy Hill. 11 o'clock, Terry Reimer. 11:15, Roger Marshall. 11:30, Neil Mackenzie. At 2 o'clock, Ben Curry. 2:15, Ollie Bayliss. 2:30, Ryan Vickers. Brad Ray at 2:45, Storm Stacey at 3 o'clock, and another brackets legend, James Toseland at 3:15. Now that, Larry Carter, is really quite a lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, and it takes me back many years, and we realise that we're broadcasting over the top of the Moto 4 machines, which are quite loud out there, so apologies if you do miss any of the information that we're giving out. We will give it out during various points during the weekend. I've had the pleasure of covering some, not all, of the Brands Hatch World Superbike rounds in years gone by. Sadly not when the Carl Fogarty dominance was. That was just a little bit before my tenure here in the commentary box. But I was here for two very, very special moments when James Toseland actually was looking to land the World Championship for the Hansbury Honda team, and I'll never ever forget that day, because not only was the pressure on James to come and deliver here in front of 100,000 fans, what he did was something which I've never ever seen before at a race meeting, and that was he played the national anthem on the piano before the actual first race.
Remember that? Yeah.
And not only that, he pulled down here on the start and finished straight, and we managed to orchestrate. It wasn't for the faint-hearted, and one or two of the ladies had to be taken across to the med centre to be treated. But they got stripped off in the old leathers. They went off into the crowd as well. So, James, I can't guarantee that James or Troy will be doing things like that today.
Larry?
It was either 2004 or 2007. I just my memory escapes me just at present. But those were the 2 years where James was the world champion. But there is a picture actually in the actual centre spread of the programme of James actually throwing the leathers out into the crowd there. So if you can see, he's fully clothed. He's got the boxer shorts on and everything else. But,
So I was here for that.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There's old Toseland throwing.
I remember it well.
There. So there you go. It's got back at Brands, Toseland and Bayliss, 100 years, and there is a little montage of pictures there.
I wonder who got the
Troy
leathers.
Bayliss and, well, some lucky, some
personally.
I should say.
Probably put them on eBay the following day.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But yeah, why not get Troy and James to sign the centre of the programme? There it is, a pull-out. You can put it on the office wall, get it framed, give it to somebody for perhaps a birthday present, a Christmas present, something like that. So another reason why you should just invest in a programme. They are limited editions, by the way, where there isn't thousands and lots will be given away. They did sell a lot of them yesterday, and I do know that there are just a limited number left. So if you haven't already done so, then do get a copy of the race programme. And I have a vested interest because my colleagues, my company, we've had the privilege of putting the race programmes together for MSV and all the rounds of the British Superbike Championship now for a number of years, and it gives us great pleasure to do that. And my contact details are in the front of the programme. If there's anything that you'd like to see in the programmes, drop me an email. Then I'll run it past the powers that be at MSV, and if it's something that we can incorporate into future programmes, we will do. If there's some stuff that you don't like in there, tell us about that, and we might even take it out. So, as ever, this championship is all about the fans. It's all this has been, always will be, as far as I'm concerned. And if we can do anything to enhance your viewing and your attendance here at Brands Hatch, and indeed around the world, because we have got tens of thousands of listeners around the world listening on BSB radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship. And if you are here at Brands Hatch, then the frequency that we're broadcasting on is 88.3 FM. 88.3 FM. And if you're thinking, well, it's a little bit loud, these bikes going round, I can't hear the commentary, do what I do, is put the little earbuds in, just get a little transistor radio, and or one of the preset radios that you can get from the Megastore, and you can tune in till your heart's content. And the good thing about it, Al, is when you've had enough of us, you can switch us off.
Yeah, I'll let the batteries just naturally run out.
Well, the riders are out there for this warm-up in the R&G Motor 4 British Cup. We had a cracking race yesterday. For this, we had not all the classes raced yesterday, most of them did, but yesterday it saw a wonderful sprint to the line by the Bolt. Marco Holt took his first ever British Championship victory, the number 37 on the city lifting Ryan Saxelby Honda, and he just managed to edge out the young Scot Jack Dunnerby, the 15-year-old from Maybole up in the Ayrshire. And coming home in third position was the Irishman and 16-year-old Jack Burrows on the Burrows Engineering RK Racing Honda. We had a cracking race. There was half a dozen riders involved during that, and we're expecting very much the same again. But already in this morning's session, it is Jack Burrows that's quickest out there, ahead of Luke Fitchett. The championship leader yesterday actually finished off of the podium, did Ryan Frost. The Rhino, the number 24 on the Michael Laverty Honda, he sadly was just beaten to the line, and as a result he missed out on a podium position. So he's got a little bit of work to do today to try and claw back some of them points that he relinquished yesterday, and I'm pretty sure that he will be doing that. As we always say, is such is the volume of broadcast we've got to get into the radio station these days with the commercial aspects and everything else. We don't have always time to give you definitive results and grids and all the other information that some of you traditionally like. So what I would do at this early juncture is point you in the direction of the information station where we always go to get all our information, and that is the website TSL Timing. TSL stands for Timing Solutions Limited, tsltiming.com. And with a little bit of navigation, they do cover most of the top British motorsport series, touring cars, Formula 3, everything else like that. But with a little bit of navigation, you can find the British Superbike Championship. It gives you a drop-down menu to the various rounds. And if you click on that round, you'll find a list of classes. And within those lists of classes are multi-page PDFs, which means that you can download the information and fill in the programs and other information till your heart is content. And that's what we do at the end of every race meeting prior to the previous one. So tsltiming.com is where you can find all of the results, everything from qualifying, free practice, even morning warm-up times, as well as the race results, grids, fastest laps, everything else you need on there. And also, Al, there's various ways that you can get in touch with us. You can interact with us here in the commentary box, and what we would say is get your messages in early, because once we go racing, the time is a little bit at a premium. But Al, just tell us how you can contact us here in the studio.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. Really good timing as well. So get your messages in nice and early if you want to say hi to people that you're here at Brands Hatch with. If you want want to wish a happy birthday, happy anniversary, any of those things
Marriage
we can do.
proposals, we've had a couple of them, haven't we?
Marriage proposals, they are acceptable. We have to do a bit of advanced planning for
We
those.
have to,
don't we?
yeah, especially if we wanted answers.
Yes. And presumably only one answer is what we'll accept on the radio.
Well, there was one time that we didn't get the right answer, I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yes, indeed. So you can get in touch with BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, on WhatsApp. That's our main means of getting in touch. So you need WhatsApp on your phone. Add the number as a contact as BSB Radio, 07482 877 877, 07482 877 877 on WhatsApp. If you've got lots to say, then you might want to send us an email, studio@bsbradio.com, studio@bsbradio.com. But the quickest and simplest way is on WhatsApp, 07482 877 877. And Larry, it comes straight into the studio, so we can get you on air as soon as we get a little gap in proceedings.
And if you didn't quite manage to get that down again, I'm sending you back to the programmes, folks. Page 15. There is a little QR code in there where you can scan, and also in the little blue block there it just says you can contact the BSB radio team via WhatsApp by sending your message to 07482 877 877 or via email to studio@bsbradio.com. That's on page 15 of the programme, so don't worry about scribbling down that if you didn't quite get those numbers. Page 15 of the race day programme, that is where you can get that information. And traditionally, Al, we do get various messages in at this early juncture, because now is a good time, folks, to do that.
Now is a really good time, Larry. In fact, messages are coming in as we speak. And for those of you that are watching on our live YouTube stream, it's on the official British Superbike channel on YouTube. We've got pictures of morning warm-up from the perspective of being down in pit lane, so you can see the beautiful blue sky. It does look nice down there, doesn't it? It looks gorgeous this morning.
Got glorious weather here at Brands Hatch. Well, just quickly, whilst we have a little bit of science out on track, the quickest rider out there, as we mentioned, was Jack Burrows in this morning warm-up. Again, means nothing. Grids are already set for the second race for later on this afternoon. But it is Burrows ahead of George Bowes, who's shown some good form this weekend. He is second quickest. And then the Spanish visitor, Alex Remisal Lomas, he is there in third ahead of yesterday's race winner, and that is the Bolt, Marco Holt, under number 37. Then we've got Harrison Day, and the championship leader, Rob Frost, rounds out the morning warm-up in 6th position. So next up on track, we will be seeing the Pirelli National Superstocks, for which we had a race yesterday, which was sadly curtailed a lap or two early due to a red flag situation. But we'll bring you that more after they had this commercial break back in the studio.
Duncan, Larry and Alan on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
Have you had a non-fault motorcycle accident? Don't let it put the brakes on your ride. McCams gets you back on the road with a like-for-like replacement bike. No insurance excess to pay, and you keep your no-claims bonus. And if you've been injured, Bond Turner's expert solicitors will work to secure the compensation you deserve. McCams and Bond Turner, supporting bikers every step of the way. Call 0345 054 1000 today, and we can help you get back onto two wheels.
Want to discover the latest Kawasaki range of machines? The Kawasaki Experience Tour is heading to dealerships across the UK throughout the summer, giving riders the chance to ride the latest 2026 bikes. From A2 friendly machines such as the Versys 650 to new models like the KLE 500, the Z1100 and the Z650S. View the full list of events and book your place at kawasakiexperiencetour.co.uk.
Duncan, Larry and Alan live on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
88.3 FM, it is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki. A very good morning to you. Welcome along. A couple of minutes away, just a minute and a half away from our next warm-up session of the morning. And it's for the Pirelli National Superstocks. That's coming up for 8 minutes of warm-up around the Grand Prix circuit here at Brands Hatch. What a treat this circuit is. Riders, drivers all around the world very often mention Brands Hatch as one of their favourite circuits anywhere on the planet. And one of the reasons is that just that amazing opportunity that you get to spectate at Paddock Hill Bend, an amazing corner, and the Paddock Hill Grandstand already beginning to fill up at just coming up to 9:30 in the morning. Great place to watch that. So many great places right the way around the Grand Prix circuit to watch. A reminder, Troy Bayliss in 1 hour's time will be appearing on the Meet the Riders area at the Zin Zone with Dave Neal conducting the interviews, followed by Tommy Hill, Terry Reimer, Roger Marshall and Neil Mackenzie, all at quarter of an hour breaks in between each of them. So 10:30 for Troy Bayliss, Tommy Hill at 10:45, Terry Reimer at 11 o'clock, and 11:15 Roger Marshall, 11:30 Neil Mackenzie. All of those legends coming up on the Meet the Riders area at the Zin Zone. Can I say a good morning to Phil and Sam? Morning. Can you say hi to Phil and Sam in the grandstand, enjoying our first visit to Brands Hatch? The staff are so helpful and friendly. That makes us feel very good when you say things like that. Thank you guys. Thanks for writing in. And a shout out to Simon and Becca, their first time at BSB Brands Hatch. I guarantee it won't be your last. And finally, this one says, good morning, our second year of following BSB in person and loving the action and drama. One more lap and Scott would have had first place back yesterday. Glad Storm finished and hope he finds some more seconds today. Thanks for keeping us entertained and well done to the Orange Army, who have been fab as ever. That comes from Nicola and Stuart, along with son Jay as well. Thank you very much indeed, guys, and thank you for your appraisal of our day one of action, really, Larry.
Yeah, absolutely, Al. We had a big crowd here yesterday, and we're finding that traditionally as we have gone through the British Superbike Championship this year. We're at round 5, of course. It's kind of like we're not far off halfway through the season. Where's it gone, Al? Where's it?
It's such a concern.
Seemed 2 minutes ago since we rocked up at Bolton Park in that little damp and inclement weather that we had at the start of the year, and here we go again for another season. And just a couple of months later, here we are at round 5 at Brands Hatch.
Amazing.
Of course, the next time.
Before we know it, we'll be here again in October.
Exactly what I was just going to say there. That. The next time that we will visit Brands Hatch will be the third weekend in October, effectively. And that is where all the championships will be decided. One or two might have just been polished off before then, but effectively that is where all the championships will be decided, courtesy of the showdown system that kind of runs in all of the classes. It's not the old showdown like it used to be with the title fighters and podium credits and everything else like that. Again, all the details are in the race program as to how the scoring works effectively. But for the case of summarising effectively, what we've got in most of the classes is double points at the final round at Brands Hatch here in October, which means that a lot of the championships do go down to the wire. And we'll be celebrating all of the champions on the main Brands Hatch podium throughout the course of the day on the Sunday when we come back here that weekend in July. So very much looking forward to that one. Just give you a date on that one so that we know exactly when it is. It is the 16th to the 18th of October. 16th to the 18th of October when we're back here at Brands Hatch for the championship finale. And as ever, what we would suggest is save yourself some money. It's all important that we all do that these days, is get your advance tickets in good time, whereby you can get some very, very good savings on the race day admissions. And also, we know a lot of you do come here to actually enjoy the camping facilities here at Brands Hatch. So again, it's something that sells out very, very quickly. So we would urge you to make your plans well in advance of that weekend here at Brands Hatch for the championship finale. It's always a very busy one, always very exciting. And I'll tell you, it wasn't quite the crescendo that we had last year when Kyle Ryde just brought that machine home, the nitrous competitions Yamaha, as it was, there home. I think it was in 6th position to clinch his 2nd championship. But the 2 years previous, when we had 2024 and Tommy Bridewell and Kyle Ryde were going at it hammer and tongs, 1 point separated Kyle from Tommy. But it was paled into insignificance compared to the previous year when Glenn Irwin and Tommy Bridewell went head-to-head on the Beer Monster Ducatis, and half a point separated the two in the championship. 1.5 points.
Those two meetings never to be forgotten.
Never. Two of the best ever races in the British Superbike Championship history, and I was there to witness both of them. And the elation of Tommy Bridewell taking that first ever victory, dedicated it to his brother, late departed brother Ollie, who sadly we lost 19 years ago tomorrow, actually at Mallory Park. But for him, the greatest race in my book of ever I've seen in the British Superbike Championship was the battle between Kyle Ryde and Tommy Bridewell for the 2024 crown. The two of them at the front, whereby they were exchanging positions and quite often paintwork in battle for supremacy, which saw Kyle come out on top and clinch his first of 2 championships. And Kyle Ryde, of course, looking to make a equal history by becoming a 3-time champion. Neil Mackenzie was the first ever 3-time champion when he took victory in the new configuration. British Superbikes have been going since the 1960s, but this new era, effectively, the new generation of British Superbikes, really started with the organisation of the Motorcycle Racing Circuit Control Board, whereby they put in the new rules and regulations effectively, and that started in 1996. So that kind of is the benchmark from where we measure all the records and everything else. So this is the 30th anniversary, and over the years we have produced some wonderful champion and some wonderful races throughout that course as it edges towards 750 championship races throughout the championship's history. We've got the stockers out there, the Super Stockers Pirelli National Superstock Championship, to give it its full name. And yesterday we had a great race between a couple of BMWs and a Honda, namely in the hands of the championship leader David Allingham on the SMS Nickel Oils BMW. And he was engaged in a long, hard battle with the Malenko by Paget Honda Motorcycles Honda of Luke Mossey, who's still looking for his first victory of the season. And keeping a watching brief in that 3rd position was the Scotsman on the Central Edinburgh BMW Michael Laverty racing machine of Lewis Rollo. And it was all boiling up to quite a crescendo with a couple of laps to go. Allingham was leading, Mossey was in 2nd position, Lewis Rollo was just a little bit further back in 3rd, and then Dec O'Connell unfortunately crashed the Rapid Honda just coming out of Druids Corner. He was perfectly okay, but the problem was that the machine was laid in the middle of the track, and with the Port West Race Safe marshals not being able to easily retrieve the machine, and it causing a potential hazard for riders just coming round that bend up there at Druids Corner, the switchback hairpin effectively. Then it was deemed that the red flag was deployed and the race was stopped, and as a result victory went the way of D-Bomb. David Allingham, the rider from across there near Eglinton in the northern part of Northern Ireland, he took what is effectively his 5th victory of the season to increase his championship lead ahead of a very disappointed Luke Mossey. And he was kind of sort of like saying afterwards, he's saying, I just don't know what I've got to do for my luck to change. I was about to make a move on the last lap, and I felt that I could have won that race, and then unfortunately the red flag came out. But David responded in the post-race interview and said, yeah, Luke had a plan, but I had a plan also. There's no way that I was going to relinquish that very easily. So we'll never know what might have been for that last couple of laps. And Lewis Rollo, who brought that BMW home in 3rd position, well, he had a problem. We've been trying to get to the bottom of the problem at what happened at Snetterton on the last lap a couple of weeks ago, because it looked to all intents and purposes as though there was some technical issue. Well, there was a technical issue with the bike, because he ended up dropping down the order, as it were, on the last lap. And Duncan Vincent, myself and Alan Hyde concluded that it perhaps lacked a little bit of the old motion lotion, effectively. We thought that it potentially ran out of fuel on the last lap, and when I ventured that question to Lewis, there was a little smile on the face, a little bit, let's suffice to say we just had a technical problem. But then off air he said, but you could be right, Scoop. So you just never know, that it might have just been perhaps a few cupfuls of fuel just short for what was a restarted race at Snetterton just a couple of weeks ago. So currently we've just got 1 second to go. Checkered flag now out for the conclusion of the Pirelli National Superstock Championship warm-up. Again, the grid has been set for later on today, and we'll see the front row of David Allingham, Luke Mossey and Danger Scouts Joshie Owens. Don't worry too much about making references to them, because Duncan will be giving you all the build-up and the grids in the start to the race as we go out throughout the course of the day. But just waiting for the last few riders to come across the line, but it looks as though it is D-Bomb, David Allingham. A great guy is David. Whatever you do though, don't give his dad Eddie any car keys, motorhome keys or anything else, because he has got a penchant for losing them. It happened at Knockhill a few years ago where David said, come on then Dad, let's get the motorhome packed up and let's get off on our travels back on the ferry across to Northern Ireland. He said, well, I thought you had the keys, David. He says, no, I'll give you the keys. No, you didn't give me the keys. Suffice to say later, it took them 5 days to get a replacement set of keys delivered up to Knockhill, and the motorhome could then be started up and taken back across there to County Londonderry, where they make the base. So, yeah, whatever you do, don't give Eddie Allingham any responsibility for car keys, because you probably won't see them again. So it is Allingham that's quickest ahead of the Spitfire pilot. Great to see Tommy Ward back on the Sam Cox Armada Cables Honda. Haven't seen Tom in action at BSB level since he sadly broke his leg at Cadwell Park towards the end of last year, but he's back now. Not going to be in with a shout of the championship, of course, but for the first ride in the championship, doing very, very well. He's second quickest this morning, ahead of the Knockhill race winner, that is Scott Swan. Then we've got Luke Mossey, he's fourth quickest on the Padgett's Honda, the Milenko Honda. The head of the elder of the two Truelove brothers that are racing here this weekend, that is number 4, Matty Truelove. And then the Scotsman Lewis Rollo comes down from Haddington, just on the southern outskirts of Edinburgh, to race each and every weekend. He is 6th quickest, ahead of a rider that's doubling up in the Super Sport and Superstock classes this weekend. Yeah, you're quite right. The name of Billy McConnell will be seen out on track in the Quattro Group British Supersport Championship, where he's riding the MME Ducati, and also having an outing on Chris Fairbairn's Honda here this weekend. He's Skippy McConnell, number 3. Josh Owens, Danger Scouts, Ashley Beach, number 55, and then Speedy Reedy, Simon Reed, who rounds out the top 10 for this, the Pirelli National Superstock warm-up. Well, we're rattling through these warm-ups this morning, aren't we? We've just got a couple more to go before we then start to think about going racing. Next up on track from 9:45 will be the Quattro Group British Supersport, but for now, back to Alan in the studio.
With all the Superbike news and insights, this is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
The Ninja 125 and the Z125 have made a welcome return to the Kawasaki lineup for 2026, meaning there's never been a better time to learn to ride. If you're thinking of starting your biking journey this year, Kawasaki Rider Training Services provides professional training every step of the way. With schools located across the UK, visit learntoridewithkawasaki.co.uk to find your nearest venue and start discovering the benefits 2 wheels can bring.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
On race weekends, every second counts, and so does the right bike insurance. Carol Nash is one of the UK's leading motorbike insurance providers, and we're proud to be the exclusive insurance partner of British Superbike. So, whether you ride a classic, a custom-built model, or a high-performance superbike, we'll get you a tailored quote in minutes. For over 40 years, we've been protecting bikes, and with 2 levels of cover to choose from, we've got your back. Don't miss out. Search Carol Nash.
With all the British Superbike news and insights, this is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
On track coming up in a couple of minutes is the Quattro Group British Supersport warm-up, and then following that, first time today that we get a chance to see superbikes out on circuit. Their warm-up just a couple of minutes longer than all of the support races we've seen so far today. They have 10 minutes on circuit, and then following that, 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bikes. They have their 8-minute warm-up taken to the circuit, and that will be around 10:15 ahead of our quick start procedure last chance qualifier race for the Rocket Off BMW F900R Cup. 10:30 is when racing gets underway, and loads of your messages have been coming in. We've got a bit of quiet out on circuit at the moment, so we'll get through a couple of your messages. Hi, could you please wish my dad Robert a very happy 80th birthday from his son Keith? Thank you, and a smiling emoji. Keith, thank you very much indeed, and Robert, happy birthday. I've got a Boost bar. Duncan, Vincent, thank you very much indeed. It's not the same colours anymore, is it?
Now just check the sell-by date on these, because I don't think they've been marketed for something like 30 years. So before it goes in the old Alan Hyde cake all there, just check the sell-by date on it.
Hang on.
Are we okay?
2012. That'll be all right.
That'll be all right. That adds to the flavour.
That'll be fine. That'll be fine. So, Robert, a very happy birthday to you. Can we have a big shout out to the Chislets, Isla and Imogen, who have driven down from Edinburgh this morning with Dad to cheer on Lewis Rollo, number 88 in the Super Stocks. That is an amazing journey to have done this morning to enjoy the racing. Are you driving back today from Edinburgh? Wow, that is quite a commitment. Well done, guys. Great to have you here. And this one says, a huge thank you to our husbands Merv and Bobby for bringing us to Brands Hatch for another spectacular weekend of racing from Devon. Lots of love from Tina and Debbie. Please read during quiet time because we're sat on the pit straight. Thank you. I wonder, can we see them sat down there on the pit straight? Are they waving? Are they saying hi to us? Can't see anybody, but hopefully you heard that because it was quiet time. It's about to get not so quiet time because engine notes rise down in pit lane, green light shown at the end of pit lane. Warm-up is underway for the Quattro Group British Supersports, Larry.
Yeah, thanks, Dunk, and thanks, Alan. Duncan has made his way back up to the commentary box. He's got his various duties done, and we have checked the date. When it said 2012 on there, that was the time that the chocolate bar was produced. I think we are still.
He can lift heavy loads though, so it's handy.
What's this part of the package?
Oh, yeah.
that Brad
12
Ray,
minutes past 8.
Yeah, Brad. We saw him delivered a package into the McCann's Yamaha garage, and him and Steve Rogers opened it up, and it was a gift from one of the sponsors of a box full of chocolate bars. So Duncan Vincent, he's a man with friends in high places, isn't he? He's managed to get 3. Because I'll tell you what, when you were going on about the Boost bar yesterday, it was starting to make me feel hungry and want one. And I've never wanted a chocolate bar so
isn't
much.
it? Yeah, it's a crave for chocolate. Yeah.
And I even looked in the shop when we went for the hot sandwich this morning. I couldn't see one. So, but anyway, Duncan Vincent, he's a man that Addy's already started on.
He's already eaten.
I love a Boost.
Yeah, we noticed. We actually heard the rustle of the wrapper.
It's beautiful.
Now, I need to thank Tom Bradbury, who's down there in the Yamaha PR. I was doing my Thrill of the Race filming with Rosie and his fantastic team, so I thought I'd pop next door just to say hello to some of the media team. The big media centre full of journalists, as you're very much aware of, Larry. And Tim Keating had no socks on for a start. Some of them were dancing around the place. Yes. And then Tom says, I've got a box of Boosts. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I thought, well, I'll get one. I'll take Larry one. And I'll take Heidi one. And I also got one for the timekeepers. Just one between 6. So they've cut it up. And
that's good currency for timekeepers.
It is, yeah. Oh, they were loving it. They were absolutely loving it. But, it was nice. I mean, I kept on seeing it yesterday. And I think you were very much aware that I had a hankering for a piece of chocolate. And what better way to start your day than 9:47 at Brands Hatch in the sunshine with a Cadbury's Boost, which is slightly rippled with a flat underside.
Well, Heidi's already wolfed his, so...
Very nice. Thanks very much.
If the studio presenter can't broadcast for the next 5 minutes or so, it's because he's got his mouth full
Can
of
I just
Cadbury
stick this
Boost.
on for a second, Larry? And I'd like to show everybody that, look, we do actually have a Cadbury's Boost, which
It's going out live on YouTube.
lovely. There we go.
So,
that will get done later on. So there we go.
And the box will be delivered to Duncan Vincent's board up there in Fife without further notice.
There's a plug for you. Now, just to let you know, Gimbal Girl is back live on our YouTube stream. Laura giving us some great images from down in the pit lane, and she's found the Yamaha Boost bike. So that works an absolute perfect treat to what we were just talking about, Larry.
Well, absolutely. Talk about brand placement. We do everything for it, won't we? Yeah. We've got the Super Sport machines out on track, and we had a race for them yesterday. We saw a great race between a number of riders out there, and it had an outcome of, the story really was that a rider making his debut at Brands Hatch, like he did at Knockhill, took victory again. And it's a name that you're familiar with, ladies and gents, because we've been going on about his dad long enough this morning as one of the legends. Forget Troy. Well, we can hardly forget Troy Bayliss, can we?
Oh,
but,
no.
Just put him to one side for a moment, because it's his son Ollie that is uprooting the sticks here at Brands Hatch, and he took the victory on the Macadam Racing Triumph. It was quite ironic, Dunk, because we had his injured teammate effectively in the box, Brad Peary, who should have been riding the bike that Ollie Bayliss is on. He's out-crocked for the season with a pretty badly broken leg, and as a result we managed to drag him up to the north face of the Aga into the commentary box, notwithstanding the fact that the poor guy needed oxygen when he got up
66 steps from the not from the actual tunnel. The tunnel would be more, but right to the top. It's a lot for a man with the external fixator.
And he did very, very well. But we had Brad Peary on co-commentary, and he watched and witnessed his replacement, effectively, Ollie Bayliss, take victory here at Brands Hatch, like his dad did on 3 occasions in the World Superbike Championship. So he took the victory ahead of Jack Kennedy for Honda Racing UK, and Jack's still looking for that elusive first victory this season. But it was Ben Kerry that brought the McCams Yamaha R9 home in 3rd position to round out the podium, ahead of Hazard Truelove in 4th, Carter Brown in 5th, Dean Harrison in 6th. And we had to go down to 7th position before we found the championship leader on the Scars Racing Ducati, and that is Luke Stapleford. Now, poor old Luke, he was an angry little Stapleford before he went out in that race. Yeah. You're a good mate of his, Dunk. I don't know whether you've had a chance
Fair
to...
weather friend, he called me, Larry.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I never spoke to him yesterday. It was best to stay away.
I would kind of have you in that class as well with myself, Duncan. So, I don't know. But if he was an angry little Stapleford before he went out for a race, I'll tell you what, it would be positively spitting feathers, little Stapleford, when he came in for that, because...
Wasn't a good showing, was it?
He's not, and he's gone on record. I keep provoking him. I must admit I'm as much to blame as what he is, but I keep poking. They do say if you poke the bear long enough, it'll bite. And I keep saying about the rule changes that have been affected the Ducati, and we had another fairly. I'm used to. I'm reluctant to use the word rant, but you know, effectively, well, you know, it's funny how as soon as I jump on a Ducati, the rules get changed, because for the past 3 years, Ducatis have been winning without any problem.
No, he went, didn't he?
You know, you kind of, you know, and it wouldn't be my job if I didn't provoke this sort of reaction from the riders. But I think I'm going to have to stop prodding poor old Luke Step, because it's having a little bit of a negative effect on him. The top and bottom of it is that there is ongoing rule changes throughout all of the classes, and we had a very, very comprehensive interview with Stuart Higgs yesterday, where he was explaining about the.
That was a brilliant interview, Larry.
Yeah, well, we needed to get it out there.
Yeah, because other championships don't do that.
No,
you know?
and realising that there's thousands of people here at Brands Hatch listening to that, and that we've got tens of thousands around the world. I sometimes get a little bit frustrated with people on social media who think that they may know the rules inside out and think that the reasons for the rules being changed are one thing, whereas if you get it from the horse's mouth, there can't be any doubt about it. And I'm a big advocate of doing that. And Stuart and I have got a good relationship. We go back many, many years, many decades throughout the course of our involvement with the championship. And I know that if I stick a microphone in front of him and pose a question, I'm going to get a chapter and verse answer. And that is exactly what we did yesterday, explained to a T. We won't go through it now in detail, but as to the reasons that the Ducati superbikes have had the 250 rev limit imposed on them, and the reasons for that, and the circumstances surrounding it, and where the championship is evolving, and how these decisions are arrived at. And it's not just a case of we wake up one morning and think, let's do this, see how that works. It's all done through algorithms and logistics, and looking back at previous records and comparing results from this year and the last year and 2 years before that and everything else. It is a very, very laborious process which is undertaken, and it's not just, the book doesn't stop with Stuart. He's the head of a big team of people who come to make these decisions, and they will come to him and make a recommendation, and Stuart will then go through his various teams and look at these recommendations and implement what needs implementing, and not implement what doesn't need implementing effectively. So effectively that is what the case was. And here in the Supersport category, that a power reduction was given. I don't know what it was, Doug. I've not had a chance to find that out, whether it was a rev limit or whether it's a weight penalty or whatever it is. I would imagine it's a rev limit penalty that has been given to the Ducatis out there, and as a result, it's affecting Luke Stapleford more than others, because when you consider that there was a couple of Ducatis in and around where he was, Carter Brown actually beat him to the line.
Carter Brown had his best race of the year,
and he was finished fifth, and he's on what motorcycle?
A Ducati.
He's on a Binge Pro Ducati, and the rider that finished just behind Luke Stapleford was his teammate Oliver Barr on a Binge Pro Ducati. So for whatever reason, he does go through these, and without sort of like wanting to tire him, he does go through these sort of like features in these spells in the doldrums. Does Luke? Sometimes it's because of the weather condition. He'll make no bones of the fact that he's a fair weather rider, effectively, like he's a fair weather friend of yours, mate. He doesn't like the wet weather, and you'll usually see Luke not towards the cutting edge if there's any dampness about. But anyway, he's got work to do because he's only 10th in this morning's warm-up. But good to see that the Hondas are running 1-2 with Dino Harrison. Dean, who, as you're aware, has been plying his trade on the closed roads recently to very good effect. But here at the Quattro Group British Supersport Championship, got his first ever career podium at Donington Park a couple of months ago, and that went down very, very well. But no sooner do I tell you that Dean Harrison is top of the shop as the checkered flag comes out than Ollie Bayliss manages to put a quick lap in there to go 0.2 of a second quicker than Dean Harrison. The 5-time champion Jack Kennedy still looking for that first elusive victory of the season. He's third quickest ahead of Carter Brown, the first of the Ducatis out there for David Brinch on the Binge Pro Ducati. Then we've got the first of the R9 Yamahas in the shape of McCann's Yamahas. Has a true love ahead, just ahead of his teammate Ben Kerry. Lucas Brown, who I wasn't aware had a problem yesterday, Doug, with a tyre, an overinflated tyre.
I walked out with Lucas last night. Lovely kid, Lucas Brown. I can say kid, he's 18 years old, lovely young man. I said, what happened? He goes, well, it's just an oversight. Unfortunately, one of these things that happened. He took it very well, actually. He says the tyres had 45 psi in them. I was like,
front and back. He wondered why he was getting a bit of chatter going into turn one.
I've got no grip. He said, Lee Johnson came to me and says, you seem to be rushing every corner. He goes, and I just couldn't stop, couldn't get the bike turned in. So they did actually come in, alter, and send him back out. And he did salvage a good lap, though, Larry, so that he got a good lap time in.
That was important, and I think he is on Rodan of the grid. I put to P27, exclamation mark, when I was doing my grids last night, because I wasn't too sure. I only got that information afterwards. But Lucas Brown, the former British Talent Cup champion, the very tall figure of Lucas Brown, is 7th quickest ahead of OB Oliver Barr from up there in the west of Scotland on the second of the Binge Pro Ducatis. Luke Stapleford on the Scars Racing Ducati. I'm going to test people in the commentary box. That's the acronym for Scars at various points in time. They are the names of the kids of the two team owners. Yeah. Well, here we go then. First one.
Simon. No, I'm joking. We're going to say Scarlett.
Scarlett, Charlie, Archie, Reggie, and Sol.
Yeah, is Kane not one of them?
Might be Scarlett, Kane, Archie, Reggie, and Sol. I think that's the one. But they're the first letters of each of the two names of.
I didn't mean to correct you live on air there either. I'm sorry.
Lee Fidley and Dale McElveen. They came up with an idea of why not we name the race team after our kids. So that's exactly what they've done.
That lap that Ollie Bayliss has just put in warm warm-up is the third fastest lap of the weekend. That's an interesting thing to come through from morning warm-up. That's a good time, that 1:27.481. The pole time was a 1:27.454. Ollie did a 1:27.460 himself, but he's backed her up with a really, really strong lap in morning warm-up. So that signals his intentions. He also spoke to me last night, came and spoke to me in a hospitality suite where we were having a bit of a little bit of late night tea. And he said, that's my first win on a Saturday, and it feels good.
Yeah.
He's normally the Sunday guy. You know, he comes good through the course of the weekend as he learns the circuit, but he's learnt Brands Hatch Grand Prix very quickly. He did come here for a track day 2 weeks ago. He says, at least I know where it goes and what it feels like. But when you get on track with these guys, he says it's a completely different circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to ascertain this conflicting information that we're getting for Ollie Bayliss, because he's in the British Championship for the remainder of the season as a replacement rider for Bradley Peary. And when I asked him towards the end of the season, I'm not to check this out, it's remiss of me not to do so just at present, but he says, I said, are you here for the rest of the season? He said, yeah, all bar the final race at Brands Hatch, which clashes.
Yeah.
Now, with the World Superbike Championship. And I thought, well, that effectively rules him out of the championship when we've got two races there, which is effectively double points, isn't it, at the Brands? You know, if we want to just sort of clarify the situation, it's not double points, but it's near as damn it is to swearing. And effectively, with the way that he's, you know, he didn't come into the championship till Knock Hill, and that means that he's 77 points behind the championship leader. It's not undoable, but it's unlikely, especially if he misses Brands Hatch.
Yeah.
Now, I've been putting this out, and Ollie told me that at Snetterton. But then you came back with some conflicting information saying, well, I've got some further information saying that he might be at Brands Hatch at the end of the season. So we've got to...
You never know. You never know.
That, you know, if he's not in with a chance of the World Championship, wherever it is that particular weekend, and not sure where it is, but and he's in with a chance of the British Championship, it would make sense for him and the team. He's been effectively not released, but is coordinating his contract with Simon Buckmaster with that of the Macadam squad run by Mick Wadsworth. And effectively, it would make sense for him to do that. But I think that's probably an ongoing situation. That is an evolving situation.
See what he is towards the end of the year.
Depending on the next 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I think that's
I've just had a lovely message from young Harrison Desoy, who's going to pop up and join us for the sport bike race. The single sport bike race today, the World Championship runner is going to join us in the commentary box. We've had Harrison in a few times. I think we first had Harrison Desoy, if I'm not mistaken, when we were in Spain, Alan. Remember that? He come and joined us when he was a little bit poorly from a testing incident. So, yep, Harrison, we'll look forward to seeing you in the commentary point. And can I just let you know that Alan Hyde's completely hoovered that boost?
Yes, yeah. In fact, he's got his eyes on ours, actually, Doug. So just make sure that he doesn't get his little sticky paws on
They
that
are
one.
sticky.
Well, that's the next riders that we'll see out on track in literally around about 15 seconds' time are the Zinn British Superbikes. But for now, I think we can go back to Alan in the studio.
With all the news, views and interviews, this is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
R&G, the world leader in damage protection products for motorcycles, is back as an official sponsor to the British Superbike Championship for the 12th year. Alongside offering a full suite of R&G products, R&G's official technical centre is the one-stop shop for essential race products such as Easy Grip, Renthal sprockets, DID chains, Motul fluids, Alpine Stars protection, and so much more. Located in the paddock at every round, visit the R&G Technical Centre today for the latest essentials at the best prices.
Whether it's weekend tours or continent exploring, adventure comes for free with Kawasaki this summer. Purchase a 2025 model year Versys 650 or Versys 1100 and you can receive a free touring kit upgrade that includes a set of panniers and inner bags, tank pad and handguards. Plus, the machines are available on low-rate finance through Kawasaki K Options. Visit your local Kawasaki dealer to find out more.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
This is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship. Live on FM radio, online at BritishSuperbike.com, and streamed live on YouTube with TSL live timing.
Those of you down the pit straight and at the top of Paddock Bend, marvel because for the first time today we get to see the speed and the power of British Superbikes. They're out on circuit, 10 minutes. Let's get back to Larry and Duncan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alan. Superbikes are on track for their 10-minute morning warm-up. We are one rider late, and I'm pretty sure you all saw the social media post. If you were here yesterday, you'll have seen what happened. Unfortunately, Eugene McManus out today, taking no further part after a sizable off going in towards Paddock Hill Bend, where it just looked like he and his teammate kind of run out of the road, had it coming together with Rhys Irwin. And Eugene literally, in fact, not literally, he did just jump off the bike, Larry, and it's all he could do.
Yeah, I think he had to. It was just on the at the top of the hill on the braking zone in towards Paddock Hill Bend, and I think you called it, Dunk. I didn't actually see the footage of the incident. Just listening to what you said, he effectively had to get off the side of the bike, and the bike made impact with the barriers, and unfortunately the resulting injuries for Eugene, they did put a statement out last night for the team. He was conscious throughout the incident. He was taken off to the local to the med centre, whereby he was treated for his injuries and then subsequently transferred off to a local hospital. And we understand that it is a leg injury, a arm injury, and a shoulder injury for Eugene, which is obviously going to undergo investigation throughout the course of today. And if we get any further information, we will bring it to you. But sadly, it's obviously going to rule him out for a round or two. But if you are listening to Eugene and to Dad Eugene, Brother James and everybody else, our very, very best wishes for a full and speedy recovery, Eugene. It was a particularly nasty off. Very, very effectively professionally dealt with by the Port West Race Safe Marshals and medics, for which we're always eternally grateful. And the team did acknowledge that they said that the treatment that they got trackside and at the med centre here was absolutely 100% first class. So our very best wishes to Eugene McManus. Sadly, the number 15 won't be out there, and neither will the 86 of Charlie Nesbitt either. Spud Nesbitt, he had an off on Friday, which aggravated a wrist injury or a hand injury that he had sustained at Snetterton a couple of weeks ago. So sadly, the team have decided to withdraw him from this weekend, and he'll be back in action in 2 weeks' time at Alton Park. Right, you've heard enough from me for the time being. I'm just going to get kitted up with the radio mic and the headset and everything else to go down to pit lane, because we've got a small matter of a BMW race upcoming very, very soon. So I'm going to hand both to Duncan and Alan to take you through until I get down to pit lane.
Larry, thank you very much for covering morning warm-up, as you guys always do, because it gives everybody a little bit of a good insight to Scoop and Al, or Alan Scoop, however it's meant to go. I did actually text Eugene's dad yesterday. I texted Father Eugene McManus, just sending my best wishes and hoping that everything was okay with Eugene, and he did text back. So I did see a bit of a statement going out as well, saying thank you for all the love that they were being sent and the well wishing towards Eugene. Thank you very much, Alan. That's great stuff. So we have the morning warm up on track. We have got only 5 minutes of it left. Keep your eyes on the large screens as. We're actually showing adverts round the back. Actually, we're not showing the bikes on track yet, so I do apologise for that. What we are seeing on track is the bikes making their way in towards Hawthorn. Josh Brooks, well, Brooksy yesterday, a decent run through, but I mean, Brooksy almost shone in free practice 1 and then didn't really show too much after that, which was a little bit of a shame for Josh Brooks, but it's so important that they keep getting points in that Dow garage. 10th and 11th for Lee Jackson and Josh Brooks yesterday. What can they do throughout the course of today? Race day, sprint race for the British Superbike Championship. And then after that, we will have a main full 20 lapper towards the end of the day. But Kyle was victorious yesterday from Scott Redding and Max Cook. And wasn't it good to see Max Cook pick a podium up? A trouble-free run for Max Cook. Didn't quite have the pace in the KB 998 Rimini Bimota to stay with the Panigale V4Rs. He gave it a very, very good shot, I've got to give you that. But he was then kind of in a lonely 4th place. And that's not what he was looking for, but it's exactly what he... 3rd place, sorry, it's what he got. He was some 5 seconds off the lead and then 4 seconds ahead of Leon Haslam, who was sitting there in 4th place with Christian Iden and Ryan Vickers in 6th. Good run for Vickers, that, actually. we have to look. That's another improvement for Ryan Vickers, but they did find themselves some 12 seconds off the race win. Now, is that a big gap? Not really, considering what you have and the size of this Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. For Ryan Vickers to only be 12 seconds back from the race winner. Let's see what happens in the sprint race. You would like to think that that gap will be a lot more closer. You'd maybe think if they can get that down to 6 or 8 seconds, that will be a good step forward for Honda. Then let's see what you can do in the latter Superbike race. Scott Redding was on form yesterday. He maybe used a little bit too much tyre, was what he said to me towards the end of the evening. Having said that, Kyle, I still stand by what I said in the race. When Kyle caught up with Scott Redding, he knew he'd bridged the gap and he had one chance to get through. He took that chance immediately, didn't follow Scott for too long. As soon as he was on his back wheel coming through clearways, he thought, I have to do this, and he did it at Paddock Hill Bend. And it was a really good overtake from Kyle on Scott Redding. I then expected Redding to do the Marc Marquez manoeuvre and attack straight back effective immediately. He didn't do that. He decided to maybe follow a little bit, and then it was building up towards that grandstand finish. And it's a shame for what happened with Eugene McManus yesterday, and thankfully he is on the mend. But I do think, Alan, I think we were robbed of something special towards the end of race number 1 yesterday.
So the point I made after the race finished was Scott Redding won the shorter race, the second race, a couple of weeks ago at Snetterton.
Yeah.
Last year, it was a question of Scott Redding in the longer races coming on strong at the end of the race. It's a new tyre this year. Everything has changed, hasn't it?
It's a new tyre, and also his opposition is on a new bike, effectively the same bike. So it does kind of move the goalposts. He's still racing Bradley Ray, who is out there on that lovely tribute livery bike. Now, sometimes when we see a tribute livery, race teams only save that for the Sunday or the last race of the weekend. But I love how the Raceways Yamaha team have thrown it on the minute they got it on track.
It's too good to keep under a sheet all weekend, isn't it?
You don't want to keep a boost hidden from the public.
I've eaten enough of that, but I have just offered that as an incentive for a guest to come up at midday.
You've offered my boost?
Yeah, I said if you come up and join me, then I'm prepared to offer you a Cadbury's boost, so please don't eat that one.
Slightly rippled with a smooth underside. That's the way. That was a slogan many years ago.
You're looking for voiceover work,
I am actually, yeah. So can I ask who you've offered my boost to?
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Right, okay, that's fine.
All I will say is he's a 4-time champion.
All right, okay. Well, it's not me then, that's for sure. I'll be outside anyway. And it's certainly not Larry either. Interesting stuff as we catch up with Bradley Ray. Bradley yesterday, I have to say, as Max Cook has a fairly big moment coming through the actual main. It's not a straight here at Brands Hatch, it's a start-finish area. Bradley Ray yesterday, well, where did we see Brad come home? 8th place. He didn't quite have the necessary tools underneath him. He had a little bit of work to do, and that 8th place will sting a little bit down there in that Raceways garage. Over 1 lap pace, Brad looks like he's pretty much got it, but the race pace doesn't really seem to be there. And on an anniversary weekend where we have the original Cadbury's Boost Yamaha that Neil Mackenzie won the 96, 97, 98 championship on down there in the pit lane, it's not really showing that well for the current Raceways McCam's Yamaha team, which is a great shame. As the checker flag now flies here at Brands Hatch, brings morning warm-up to an end. We will get the bikes across the line, and after we get the Superbikes back in, we head straight into the last. In fact, we go into the 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bike warm-up. We'll do that first. As we carry on watching out the side of the commentary box, and we'll get Max Cook through and across the line on the Bimota. Braden Elliott goes through, as does Max Cook. Max finishes his session in 6th place, and he has taken that checker flag just ahead of Ryan Vickers with a 125.2. A lot of people will be out there trying to just make sure they've got a nice feeling under the bike and get themselves into a bit of a rhythm. We did see yesterday a few people struggling, and I have to say Rory Skinner and Danny Kent were 2 of those guys I didn't expect to see struggling here at Brands Hatch this weekend. But Rory said to me, I've got a front seat on the struggle bus and I can't see me getting off it anytime soon. That was a commonly used phrase in the paddock for quite a few years. But yeah, Danny Kent finishing the warm-up in 13th and Rory finishing the warm-up actually in 7th, putting a personal best lap in right at the end and drawing himself the little bit further forward. Again, Ilya Michalczyk impresses. He is inside the top 10 in morning warm-up, 9th overall. And he was one of the guys that I actually highlighted. Now, if you have a look at the... No, you can't see, it's not on a large screen yet, Alan, but look at the screen, Alan. You can just see the Eugene McManus incident that they're replaying, but they're not actually playing that trackside as yet.
I relived that many times last night when I got back to my hotel room.
And there's the thumbs up towards the drone, which I thought was a classy move from the young man, and that's what I saw through the binoculars as well. And we got given the okay to mention that from Race Direction, but... yeah, the Superbike warm-up comes to an end, and it's Kyle Ryde who's fastest. He does 4 laps, and he parks it up with a 124.2. Now, that's a pretty hot lap for a morning warm-up, 124.2. Scott Redding second with a 124.4. Brad Ray, 124.8. And Leon Haslam, a 125 flat, with Glenn Irwin, 125.1. That's your top 5. Behind Glenn Irwin, it was Max Cook, then Rory Skinner, Ryan Vickers, Eli Michalczyk, and in 10th place, the O-Show, Jason O'Halloran, 2 Hondas inside the top 10. That's good. Joe Talbot, who tipped off twice yesterday, maybe worthwhile, Larry Carter, if you can, venturing towards that AGN Steelstock Bimota FS3 garage, just to make sure Front Row Joe is okay, because there was an update that he was going to take a little trip to the medical centre. I did try and catch him last night, but I missed him, and I haven't heard back from him, so... let's just make sure Joe is okay. He's ahead of Christian Iden, Danny Kent, Storm Stacey, Lee Jackson and Fraser Rogers, with Richard Kerr, Rhys Irwin, Josh Brooks in 19th place, Graham Irwin, Luke Hedger and Braden Elliott. We'll pause now for a quick commercial break here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki.
You're listening to BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship, live from every round of British Superbikes.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive, only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
Joining the Kawasaki family has never been easier thanks to Kawasaki K-Options Finance. With competitive finance rates available across the entire range from entry-level 125s to the superbike conquering Ninja ZX-10R. It's easy to find the perfect machine for your garage. Start tailoring your deal today at Kawasaki-calculator.co.uk. That's calculator with a K. Kawasaki Finance is a trading style of Black Horse Limited.
Let's stop there. Being a soldier, it's exciting. You already know that. What you want to know is, what's in it for me? I wanted to learn leadership skills from the experts.
I wanted to get paid to earn qualifications.
I wanted more confidence. And now look, I'm on the radio. That's what was in it for me.
Get skills, get qualified, get confident. Army, recruiting now, search Army jobs.
Live online at BritishSuperbike.com, on FM radio and live stream with TSL live timing on YouTube. This is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
A very good morning to you. Welcome along to the just a little bit cloudy now here at Brands Hatch, but a beautiful morning and a great day of racing set to get underway. Our final warm-up session is just taken to the circuit, the 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bikes, and loads of your messages have been coming in. So just while the bikes aren't actually going at full speed around the circuit, hopefully you'll be able to hear me if I say down from Nottingham to meet up with the family at the circuit. Looking forward to a great day and always fantastic commentary. That's from Tim and Joe as well. Flattery gets you a long way, Tim and Joe. Thank you very much indeed. And morning, Duncan. Glad to see you brought some carrots with you. Nikki B on the South Bank. Hashtag carrot of happiness. There is a story about the carrot of happiness. Apparently, if you bury a carrot in Scotland, then it brings you good weather. And we had tremendous weather at the Knockhill meeting for BSB this year, and it was all put down to the burying on the Wednesday before the meeting of a carrot. which subsequently was dug up apparently. Welcome to George Scott in the Paddock Hill stand, who's arrived from Texas to watch Brands Hatch in its 100th year. That's amazing, George. Great to have you here. You are very welcome. The world famous circuit here, Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch, is all the better for you making the trip from Texas today. Thank you very much indeed. And this one says, happy birthday, Diane. Love from Steve and Joe. Birthday tomorrow for Diane. And final one for now. Hi, can I have a message to say hello to everyone in the suites? And how lovely all of the staff are. We are in B810. Which reminds me, Duncan Vincent, of a text that we got a couple of weeks ago. We were at Snetterton, and we got a slightly perplexing message about the commentary having gone off. And then finally we worked out that it was a message from somebody in the suites over at Brands Hatch while we were at Snetterton.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
So this WhatsApp number does follow the championship around. So if you are at a circuit that BSB is not, then don't use the number.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100% with that. But that completely confused you, didn't it? The commentary's gone off.
I was having a backwards and forth on WhatsApp, and then I finally said, are you at Brands Hatch? You went, yeah, got no commentary. Right, okay.
I like the person who radioed in and said you played the same song at the same time every day.
That
and
was
you said,
last week,
great,
wasn't it? Yeah, cool, isn't it?
Cool. Yeah, it was good, that. Yeah, if you have any, but please get in touch with us, and it's a nice, simple, easy way. You can email, or you can just pick your phone out and hit WhatsApp and dial in this number, Alan, and people can get in touch with us.
This number, when you say this number, Duncan, what is the number?
The number that you're about to say.
07482 877 877. 07482 877 877. Dunk never remembers it. It's on WhatsApp only.
Well, I'll end up saying my own phone number out. That's
Don't do that.
Big the problem.
Don't do that.
Oh, yeah. So, well, we can look down the pit lane there, and I can actually see Steve Hicken getting a little bit of filming done with the guys from BSB, Rogie and the team down there. So whether they're doing a little bit of... just a bit of a chat about what happened yesterday and how if the bike can be repaired. We know that Eugene won't be here, but we wish him the best of luck. That's in the Superbikes. But on track, yes, we have got to look at what we have on track. It is the 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bike Championship. They had a race yesterday, Alan, and the race was it was a hot race as ever. It's what we expect to see, and it was back to winning ways for Kirkcaldy Kawasaki's Marley McKenzie. Now, there's been an amended result to this race, which I think is important. And just to let you all know, Eugene McManus is in pit lane. Larry Carter, Eugene is in the garage, and he's just about to do a bit of a chat with possibly the TV. So I don't know if you were in that area, Larry, and you could have maybe shuffled on down there. That would be great. Thanks, Alan. And we could see if we could maybe get a chat with Eugene himself. But he is in the garage, and he looks cool as ever, that's for sure. But he'll be a bit sore after yesterday. Larry giving us Norman Collier there.
That was the best Norman Collier I've heard since 1978.
I like that, Larry.
It was superb.
We'll put that through the Enigma machine and we'll see if we'll come back with Scoop. No, don't worry. Thanks very much. I think that was I'm on my way, Dunk. But it could have been anything, ladies and gentlemen.
Now that I've got signal, trying to do that on a metal staircase wasn't great. Yeah, I'm in pit lane, just going to head down there now, just see what I can find out, Dunk.
Yeah, fabulous stuff. That was funny. Put himself in the Faraday cage and he tried to speak with the radio mic.
Superb.
Back to winning ways for Marley McKenzie yesterday, but it was by no means an easy race, Alan. It was only 0.02 of a second over his championship rival, Luca Hopkins. He was very much under the cosh all the way. Kept honest by Luca Hopkins, kept honest by Ben Jolliffe. Lakin Payne was in the midst of it as well. And the 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bike Championship really gave us some interesting racing. It was good to watch. What we can tell you is that does help Marlon McKenzie in his championship ever so slightly, because he pulled a couple of points on Luca Hopkins, and it goes up to, from a 13-point lead, it now goes up to a 16-point lead. So that's quite something when you look at it. But one thing I was just happy to see there, Alan, on the internal feed which we're getting just now, which it wouldn't be broadcast live because it's somebody walking into pit lane with a camera. I was happy to see that Eugene McManus is at that garage. I don't have gimbal girls in that area.
We've got gimbal girl on the way.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that moving. But Larry,
I can report also that Joe Talbot is in the back of the AJN Steelstock Bimoto garage, just having a chat to the crew. Let me just go and see Far and Dry has decided to pull out of the Ducatis as the BMWs as well. Darren, can I just I don't want to interrupt Joe there whilst he's just doing a debrief there, but is he good to go yesterday? Because it was a big tumble, and we did say that he'd been taken off to the med centre.
Yeah, no, he's all good. Tweaked his neck a little bit, so got the tiger balm out, and he was all good to go. No,
as long as you applied it.
Yeah. Oh no, he won't let me anywhere near him. I have tried. No, he's yeah. I think it was more the first tumble actually that done him. The second tumble yesterday he was absolutely fine, but the first tumble he sort of machine washed him through the gravel, and I think he tweaked his neck a bit. But no, he's absolutely fine. He's just getting, obviously it's making him understand that he's got the time to learn, and the trouble with it is his ability is so far ahead, and the package he's on is so good that he's running with much quicker riders than probably he should be. So, you know, his ability is probably causing him a problem at the minute.
Well, you have a penchant in this team to develop young talent. You always have done. It's been part of the policy of your team. And I remember having a conversation with yourself and Nigel Snook back in 2017 when I think Billy McConnell was riding for you at the time, and he was out injured for the final round, and I think the question was asked as to, we're looking for a young rider to stick on a superbike. You know, do you have any ideas, any thoughts or whatever? And the name that came to my mind was, I don't want to take any credit for this, was, well, there's a young guy in the paddock called Kyle Ryder who's doing pretty good works, and I said he could look a lot worse than he is. And I think that what a lot of people forget is that you gave Kyle his first opportunity ever on a superbike for FS3 racing back in 2017. And a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, look where that's come. You've persevered with Max over the years, and you've got a reaping a diamond with him, and Joe will come good at some point in time after his rookie season or what have you. But you've got this sort of like reputation now for being talent spotters.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with it is, I mean, people can criticise us by saying, oh, you just take young riders on because they don't cost as much. But it's not that at all, because they actually do cost more in crash damage, etc., etc. And you do expect that to a certain extent. But it gives the team and us so much more satisfaction to bring young riders through. All the boys in the garage love to see them progress and come through. And unless teams like us do give these lads the opportunity, where we're going to be in a few years' time. You can't keep recycling very good, very professional riders, but everybody, you know, everybody hits a limit with age and so on and so forth. And for the longevity of the sport and the series, you've got to give these young lads a try.
And talking about recycled teenagers, now I did see that a certain number 3 in the BMWs has actually withdrawn, and his name escapes me at present, but is there a reason for this, Fry? I haven't seen the sick note that's come into the organisers yet.
Yeah, I woke up with the stark realisation I'm way too old, way too fat and way too slow. But I did enjoy myself. I could put a smile on my face. And in that last race yesterday, I was just saying to James from K-Tech, I lost the front going into the up over the hill here. And I thought, right, enough.
And the hospital food doesn't taste as nice at our age, does it?
No. It's the and I've got to get back to the old age pensioners retreat soon. So it's.
So
yeah.
is this the official retirement then, Darren, or it might be never say never?
No, I'll do 2 or 3 more. Do you know what? That F900 Cup, you can say what you want about, you know, the bikes, and I think they're absolutely brilliant. And it's like going back to what and reminding why you first started racing, because you get in the Parc Fermé afterwards, everybody's got a smile on their face, everybody's had a great race. You know, this is so serious, this side of it, but to go and do that and see the great big beaming smile on everybody's faces is absolutely brilliant. It's a breath of fresh air, to be fair.
We're a long time, Darren, to do it as long as you can enjoy it, Darren.
Exactly.
Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers, mate.
Well, there you go, Darren Fry. Sadly, we're not going to see him in the BMW Cup. He's withdrawn, but yeah, he just got up this morning, didn't fancy it. You can't be much more honest than that, can you?
No, I like Darren Fry, or Far and Dry as he is in my phone. I do like that. The honesty, you know, he's not got anything to prove, and he maybe has bigger things to look after, and that's the likes of Joe Talbot and Max Cook, who are on track today on the Bimotors. And if you can just install a little bit of wisdom into those guys, we'll probably see Darren back at Aston, I would imagine. That's where he made his debut last year, if you remember. He and Paul Curran as we follow Larry Scoop Carter down the pit lane, heading towards what looks like the Hawk garage. The 1P Mobile National warm-up has come to an end, and it was Marley McKenzie who was almost a whole second, 9/10 faster than anybody. Arnie Carr in second place from Lake and Payne, Lewis Mullen, Mason Johnson, Ben Jolliffe, Freddie Oakley, Rory Creeth, Jamie Hanks Elliott and Luca Hopkins, the top 10. But that was warm-up. We will be going racing next with the rocket off BMW F900 R Cup last chance qualifier race. Quick start procedure for 8 laps as Scoop gets into the area of Hawk.
Yeah, I'm down here at present. Can't see any sign of there's Rhys Irwin across there. I'm not too sure where there's Dan Brooks as well. What's Eugene about at any point, Sam? I don't know whether he was... Is in the truck, is he? Yeah, whether or not we can just get a quick word. But there's the team boss down here, Stuart Hicken. Let's just grab a quick word with Stuart. And here... Stuart, I was looking to see if we could see Eugene actually, but I think he's in the back of the truck, isn't he? Yeah, but yeah, he's. Well, I wasn't expecting to see him back at the track today because it was a pretty hefty off he had yesterday.
It was a big off. He went for a scan last night. There's a slight crack in the bone at the back of his shoulder blade, but very small. So he's, apart from very bruised ankles, he's got away with it.
Yeah, because we were fearing the worst when he was on the stretcher with potential leg injuries and everything else. But well, that's absolutely fantastic news because we weren't expecting that. So hopefully it's only just going to be perhaps a matter of a couple of weeks before we might even see him back on the bike.
He'll be back for next meeting, no problem. Yeah.
Built of strong stuff these, not like when we used to race, was it, Stuart?
Absolutely not.
Thanks very much. Well, doing a cracking job. Thanks very much. That is Stuart Hicken, very much Steve Hicken. His son nowadays runs things to that. There is Rhys Irwin towards the back of the garage there, the Radiant Super Sport champion who was...
It's ironic that it was the two of them that actually come together, the two teammates, one of these strange ones.
I didn't see that footage, Dunk, but the lead up to it saw them both circulating just outside, coming through clearways together, and I just did wonder whether or not they'd actually just had a little bit of a tip there. But sadly, I'm not sure whether the radio mic would work at the back of the garage inside.
Yeah, it did the other day with me, if you want to try.
I think he's inside the truck, that's the problem, so we might get another...
It's never stopped him before, has it?
Norman Collier, so I'm pretty sure he'll be on the grid if we can get a chance to have a chat with him. But the update from Stuart Hicken, the team boss, is he'll be back with us at home park in a fortnight, which, when he was laid in that gravel trap down at Paddock Hill Bend, I thought that was a long way off, Dunk.
Which is fantastic news, but I'm 100% in agreement with you. I didn't expect him to be back so soon, but it was great to see him at the circuit today, looking so fresh as well. They're built of tough stuff, those McManus boys. We've seen that quite a few times. They are built of tough stuff, where myself and Larry and Alan would be looking for some cups of coffee, sitting with the feet up and looking for a little rest for a couple of weeks.
6 months on the sick one, the government paying us to do nothing.
Well, it would be for Heidi with his job, Quangos that he's on.
But I'm not sure what's going on at the Batham's AGN Racing team at present, because I just walked past the garage there, and the shutter door came down straight away. And Graham Ward, Michael Rutter and Storm Stacey, they are behind locked doors at present in that. Now, I could do the sensible thing and just have a wander around the back of the garage and ask them what's going on and go in the back door. But after yesterday, where I think, did Storm finish 14th?
Looking at something else, I think so.
Well down the order.
Yes.
Then, but we won't go and poke our nose in where it's not welcome just at present. But suffice to say that all ain't well in camp. The trouble at mill, lad, as I might say, up in my neck of the woods there, as far as the AGN Batham's squad is concerned.
14th for Storm Stacey.
It's not where it should be, is it?
No,
so obviously,
no.
On the back of 3 DNFs at Snetterton as well, it's head scratching time.
Not great, but we know that they will come back from that. Michael Rutter was speaking to myself on BSB Radio powered by Kawasaki on Friday. I don't know if you picked up that. I know you were busy travelling and doing other things. I think Alan heard it, but he was pretty vocal about how he doesn't think that their Ducati should be hit with the rev reduction. And it was quite interesting. He says, look, it was a road bike. They're the factory race bikes. I don't think we should be hit with that rev reduction. And I was like, well, okay, I kind of let him go with it, but in my eyes, it's a Ducati, unfortunately, and they've all got to be painted with the same thing. Storm went into the next session, went 4th fastest, so there was it was obviously still pretty quick as the BMWs, the rocket off F900 R Cup last chance qualifying race heads out. But I did like, Alan, how Michael was quite outspoken and said, no, I think it should be this, and I love when people give you their opinion on the radio.
You got quite a few sort of quite in-depth interviews on Friday. It's quite interesting, isn't it? It's a 3-day meeting, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Some qualifying takes place on a Friday, but it just feels like when you do interviews that the pressure is slightly off on a Friday, and they all of a sudden they wax lyrically, don't they?
Yes. Josh Brooks being one of them. The interviews that Josh Brooks gives us is absolutely fabulous. You know, it's everything we want to know from the bike, how the bike's going, the team, where they're going to go, and how they can make it progress. I do love my time with Josh Brooks. Now, the grid for the Rocket Off F900 R Cup Last Chance qualifier, an 8-lap race, an amended grid, because bike number 3 has withdrawn from the meeting. That's Darren Fry. We've just heard from him down there in the FS3 garage, and he was giving the exact reason why he has decided to pull out for the meeting. Thanks, Alan, and I think that's a great thing for Darren to do, just to focus on what they're actually doing. I mean, that's it. Darren saying, you know, there's so many fast guys out there. I think, did he say he lost the front end going through Paddock Hill Bend to Larry? That's not a place you want to have a moment. But Alex Pearson rolls up on 94 for pole position with 66 Joe Carnell and 92 Jim Lee alongside him. Number 9 is Jordan Ashington with 62 Alex Vela and 69 Danny Cartwright on row 2. Row 3 sees 17 Paul Barker, 50 Leon Wilton and 98 Ben Ribicki. And on the 4th row, it's Nick Heath, Chris Taylor and Jason Pease. That's 47, 36 and 23. The 5th and final row, Andy Booth, Giovanni Belliosi makes a racing return, and Chris Duggan, 13, 27 and 812. And the harsh reality of this race is one person will not make the main event. Alan Hyde, it's quite a race to race for here. The action will be towards...
You don't want to be that one person,
no, and we don't have any big hitters in this race, which sometimes we do have. Josh Connor kind of alluded to that yesterday, as he didn't want to make a mistake and go through the LCQ race, as he thought he could have pushed on a bit more but didn't want to risk it for the proverbial biscuit. Let's see how we get on. We're ready to go racing here. It's 100 years of Brands Hatch, and it's 30 years of the British Superbike Championship, and we start our Sunday with a Rocket Off Last Chance qualifying race for the BMW F900 R Cup. Red lights on, go. Good launch off the front row off the grid for Alex Pearson on the number 94. He will comfortably lead from Jim Lee in towards Paddock Hill Bend, and will they all get through there? Yes, they will. A little bit of care and consideration for each other as they make their way up and in towards Druids for the first time of asking. Jim Lee trying to come round the outside of Alex Pearson, but unable to do so. It was a good effort, but going in towards Druids, you go over the crest of a hill, and it's so easy for you to get caught out in that little area through the bottom of Graham Hill Bend. They all come and now make their way along the bottom of the Cooper Straight before we go through Surtees. The Last Chance qualifier race are pretty much a staple part of the F900 R Cup series, and one that the guys get to showcase their talent at the front and on the big screens. But unfortunately, there will be one who won't make it through out of this field of 15 bikes as they come down towards Hawthorne. They climb the hill back into Hawthorne and then go through that very fast corner along the Derek Minter Straight and then in towards Westfield, a corner which causes a lot of people a lot of troubles. You go into it just a little bit too fast, and a lot of people have the bumps, and they catch the bumps wrong as they go through Westfield. And we've seen quite a few people come undone there. We saw Lennon Doherty this morning going down there. We saw Joe Talbot also slipping off there yesterday. It's a place where Bradley Ray crashed last year. And if anything, through there on his fastest lap in qualifying, Kyle Wright looked like he was riding every bump on the crest of it. It did look like a handful. As they come back through Clearways for the first time of asking onto Clark Curve, here we have Alex Pearson leading from Jim Lee, then Joe Carnell, Alex Vela, Jordan Ashington as they come across the line in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Bit of jockeying back down for what looks like 4th, 5th and 6th. And 4th, 5th and 6th is Vela, Ashington and Barker, who's right in the middle of that as they come back up in towards Druids. Underneath the Carol Nash Bridge, over the crest of the hill. Tricky corner, Druids, because you do go over the crest and it drops down towards the apex. Then kind of falls away from you all the way through that corner before you head down towards Graham Hill Bend. And from Graham Hill Bend, one of the actively monitored spots for track limits, which you don't want to get caught out on. The exit of that corner, you fall over the edge of that red and white curb onto the green, you will be in trouble with the race direction. As we make our way through Surtees on towards the Grand Prix loop for the second time of asking. And it once again is still Alex Pearson at the front from Jim Lee, looking really strong. at the front, Alex Pearson. He's not under any pressure. He looks like he's enjoying leading this race. Sometimes the pressure can get to them, but Jim Lee keeping him very, very honest. And then Joe Carnell, another man who we see quite a lot of the time in this last chance qualification race. These guys will want to race for the win because there is a couple of prizes up for grabs in this as well. It's not just a last chance qualifying race with a chance to make your way into the main event, which they're doing, but there's also some lovely prizes that BMW put forward. They do change from meeting to meeting, so the guys have got quite a carrot dangling in front of them. And there's more talk of a carrot at a Superbike event as they come through Stirlings and head down towards Clearways, back into our view into the Indy Circuit underneath the beautiful Brands Hatch Centre there, which has got a busy rooftop to it today as we look from the commentary point across towards the top of that. A lot of spectators on the roof. I've never seen them there before, Alan. It looks very good, and it's still Alex Pearson. He's got a 2.5 tenth of a second lead on bike 94 over 92 Jim Lee. Behind Jim Lee, 1.3 seconds further back. Joe Carnell, as we catch up with Chris Duggan coming through in 15th place. One of our true heroes racing, an amputee who is racing in this class. A fabulous, fabulous role model for so many people is Chris Duggan, and an ex-Forces man back into the True Heroes racing fold. And True Heroes look after so many people who are either in the Forces or have been in the Forces. And Chris Duggan is a bit of a hero to us all. He's behind Giovanni Belliosi, and Belliosi on the 27 bikes, making a return to racing. Remember, we saw Thomas Strudwick on that bike at Donington Park when Belliosi was out and unable to race. But Giovanni in the race, and looks like he will be making a transfer spot to the main event on the 27 as we watch the leaders coming along in towards Westfield. They've put a nice chunky gap between themselves and Joe Carnell. Pearson and Lee have just pulled away. That 1.3 seconds looks like it's got bigger as they go down through Dingledale and then up towards Sheen Curve. Blind corner Sheen Curve with a bit of a dip in the middle of it. Very difficult to go through that area. And we saw yesterday all sorts of things going wrong for people through that little small area and catching them out on the run in towards Stirlings, which is another banked corner. It invites them in so quickly. And speaking of inviting, well, Jim Lee was inviting himself up the inside of Alex Pearson, but Pearson just managed to hold that one at bay. This is bubbling up as Jim Lee pops out from the slipstream in towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's looking up the inside, but no, Pearson chops the nose off Jim Lee. And I think that maybe caught Jim Lee just a little bit unaware like that was going to happen. And he just had to double check himself going in towards the top of Paddock Hill Bend. It's still Joe Carnell in second place on 66. And he holds Alex Vella and Paul Barker at bay. He's got ahead of Jordan Ashington, and Danny Cartwright sits in 7th place, just ahead of number 36, who's Chris Taylor, the Coventry-based rider on the Cam Civils and Landscaping BMW. And Chris Taylor in 8th place ahead of Liam Wilton and Ben Ribicki, who we have spoken about through Surtees once again. Get everything tucked in. The idea with these BMWs, they don't have much in the way of fairing, so they do slipstream incredibly well. And we can see Jim Lee dragging himself up towards the back. Oh, as down goes 69. Is that Danny Cartwright? I think it was, up and running away from the scene of the crime. Is that at Surtees as we have a look out the window? Yes, it is. The Port West Race Safe Marshals already on the scene of the crime and doing what they need to do, which is a great shame. Now, that means there's a bit of a change. That means everybody else who's still running should make it through to the main event, Alan. Unfortunately, one person's downfall is always somebody else's upturn, and that's what we're seeing for Chris Duggan. As we look at Chris Duggan, it definitely looks like we are going to have Chris Duggan in the main event, as Alan's absolutely mesmerised by the helicopter landing on the far side.
I love a helicopter.
You do, don't you?
I do.
Is that? Yeah, it's a nice one, that as well.
Beautiful.
But we're watching Chris Duggan coming through in 812. So Danny Cartwright falls off at Surtees, and that opens the door for this man to make his way in towards the main event. Chris Duggan will keep our eyes on number 812 because Jim Lee is starting to make manoeuvres up towards the sharp end. Yeah, Lee takes the lead in towards Druids. Lovely overtake on the green BMW for Jim Lee. Lovely colour scheme he's got on that number 92. He goes ahead of Alex Pearson. Pearson tucks himself in behind. Does he have anything to come back up with Jim Lee? They know each other very well. They do race each other week in, week out in this BMW Cup. They do find themselves on track a lot, as 62 now, Alex Vella gets himself ahead of Joe Carnell into 3rd place. They go past where Danny Cartwright slipped off, and that will be the last we see of Danny this weekend. He won't make that main event. The number 69 rider, unfortunately, out of the race. And we shall we'll keep our focus firmly on what we can see on track. Danny Cartwright from Crewe, upright racing, which is, well, unfortunately not what he did in the race.
Yeah, he was a late entry to the programme, actually. He wasn't in my list, Dunk, so he only decided to come at the last minute. Probably wishing he didn't, now didn't number 69 of Danny Cartwright.
Yeah, great shame for Danny. He was having a good race, but the name upright racing is almost a little bit ironic, actually. But thankfully, Danny's okay. That's the most important thing. He was putting a good show there as well, battling with the likes of Vela, Carnell, Barker and Ashington, but it just didn't come. This didn't come good for him and couldn't stick at it going through the bottom of Surtees, as we almost saw Alex Pearson having a look as they came in towards Clearways at getting the lead back from Jim Lee. Pops out from the slipstream as they pass us. We're now moving into lap 6 and through goes Pearson with a huge slipstream in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Does he make his apex? He does. Great stuff from Alex Pearson to go back into the lead, but cost himself ever so slightly through the heart of the corner, and Jim Lee comes back up the inside, but Pearson lays the F900 across the nose of Jim Lee and doesn't give him any opportunity to get his front wheel alongside him. That was not bully boy tactics, but it was forceful defensive riding, which I like that, the way he controlled the situation in towards Druids, unwilling to give anything to Jim Lee, and if Jim wanted to do something, he was going to have to release the brake, and you know, Pearson knew exactly what was happening there. If Jim Lee did release the brake, he would miss the apex at Druids and unwide. But now we're already onto the back straight down Hawthorne Hill. We come in towards that incredibly fast corner. Jim Lee was on the wrong side of the circuit to try and make any attack going in towards Hawthorne as they both head through the apex of the corner, tuck in behind the very small screen on the Derek Minter Straight, and then back towards Westfield, where it's still Alex Pearson who leads the way at the front. He was on pole position. He got a fabulous start. Number 94, Alex Pearson. The blue and orange flashes on his F900 R Cup BMW against the number 66, against the number 92, sorry, of Jim Lee, the green BMW, as they make their way down through Stirlings towards the Grand Prix Loop. The battle behind that is pretty much raging on. Vela, Carnell, Barker and Ashington all together. We saw them coming through Hawthorns, and that's continuing all the way through the Grand Prix Loop. As once again, onto the home kind of straight that we have here at Brands Hatch. Jim Lee's turn to pick up the slipstream, but he doesn't want to make a manoeuvre. I don't think Jim Lee wants to show his hand. He takes a very wide line into the top of Paddock Hill Bend to cut it back through the apex and try and get on the gas hard downhill so he can then make a manoeuvre in towards Druids. He's so much quicker. He's trying to go around the outside because Pearson takes a completely different philosophy there and actually costs himself a little bit of time. Lee could be up the inside into Graham Hill Bend. No, he's not brave enough to try and force that one, because you leave yourself open to being cut back on the exit and you can lose the position ever so easily, as Alex Pearson holds the lead of the race as we're in towards the last lap and a half. They need to make sure they get towards the end, because it's one thing battling in the last chance qualifier race. We've just seen what Danny Cartwright done, unfortunately. You don't want to add yourself to that list of not making the main event, as popping out in towards Hawthorne. Here comes on the inside. No, Lee again gets his nose chopped off. And Pearson, very aggressive, the way he chops the bike across the front of Jim Lee, and looks like a change of position further back. Was that Joe Carnell getting back ahead of Alex Vela? They were side by side through the heart of Hawthorns. From a long distance, we have a little bit of a look back, and it's Vela Carnell. It was a bit of a side-by-side manoeuvre as they went through Hawthorns, but they're not giving each other much room on track as we get towards the end of the 7th lap. Up the inside, through goes Joe Carnell. He takes the spot away from Alex Vela. That was lovely. That was very well controlled. And at the back, just keeping his eyes on the prize, Jordan Ashington on number 9, as Alex Vela not wanting to give an inch. He comes back on the inside on 62 to come through on the inside and head down towards Paddock Hill Bend. The leaders start their last lap. We focus on this big battle going in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Vela back up the inside on the orange 62, makes the position work for him, but he can't hold it through the apex. A lot more speed round the outside and aggression from Joe Carnell on 66. He just laid caution to the wind there, used a whole lot of exit curb, as you would maybe do in a different series, bounced across it, came back on the track and holds the last podium spot. The thing is, we've got 4 guys battling for a podium spot here. Unfortunately, 3 of them are going to be a little bit unhappy, and Joe Carnell just defending his position as he runs along the Cooper Straight in towards Surtees. Back onto the Grand Prix loop. The leaders are already gone. It's still Pearson, Alex Pearson from Jim Lee, who has a 0.2 of a second lead. In fact, he doesn't now. They're side by side. They're bar to bar towards Hawthorns. Again, Jim Lee just not wanting to release the brake and roll towards the apex. Alex Pearson ever so aggressive, lays the bike across the nose. We're on to the last lap. We've got maybe 4 corners to go as we come through Westfield, down through the bottom of Dingle Dell. It's one continuous right-hander, and then you get to Sheen Curve as you come over the crest of that hill, and it's Joe Carnell still holding on his own in 3rd place as they bounce away over the crest of Sheen Curve in towards Stirling. The leaders are already making their way down towards the last couple of corners. They come back into our view now, and it's still Alex Pearson who leads the way. He slows it up on the mid part of the corner, and here comes Jim Lee with a whole head of steam round the outside. There's been a change for 3rd as well. Vela has gone back ahead across the line. Taking the checker flag is Alex Pearson from Jim Lee. Side by side across the line, it's Vela who goes back ahead of Joe Carnell, Paul Barker and Jordan Ashington. A good battle for the last couple of steps, or the last step on the podium, and a great battle at the sharp end as well. Chris Taylor and Leon Wilton come across the line for 7th and 8th position, and we wait for number 47 to make his way across the line in 9th place. That's Nick Heath. He does so from Ben Rubicki. Those guys are home safe and dry, and everybody that crosses the line will be making their way to the main event. We wait for Jason Pays to come through, the man from South Croydon on the GNR Electrical Racing BMW. And number 13 will be tailing him, which is the Horsley-based rider of Andy Booth. Belliosi and Duggan will also make the main event, as we see Giovanni Belliosi coming out of Clark Curve, crossing the line, and we wait for Chris Duggan to make his way through in towards the last corner. Chris on 812 underneath the bridge, coming back in towards Clearways for True Heroes Racing. He'll come through Clearways and head Clark Curve, and 812 Chris Duggan will make the main event, which is fabulous news for him and the guys at True Heroes Racing. Fabulous, good stuff. Well done, True Heroes. Well done, Chris Duggan. But the 1, 2, 3 at the top, Pearson, Lee and Vela, well, a good race, a hard race, and a nice clean race, Alan.
There is a blue BMW at the top of the blue car park. The registration number is DS16ZMZ. That's a blue BMW, top of the blue car park, DS16ZMZ. You need to return to your car as soon as possible. Once you get there, you will realise why.
Is that not Larry's car? Blue BMW?
No.
I do know he changed his plate.
Did he change his plate?
He hopes not.
I've got a white one nowadays, which hopefully has not been towed out of the car park.
That's a relief for all of us.
I parked where I was told to park, and then some rather over-officious car park attendant told me I wasn't allowed to park there.
Oh,
so
dear.
I just shrugged my shoulder and walked off. So that's where I was told to park by the officials, so that's where the car is at present.
Now we know it's not one of our team. I'll give out the number again. It is a blue BMW, top of the blue car park, DS16ZMZ. You need to return to your car immediately, please. That's an important announcement. Right. Larry, do you want a couple of moments before we come down to you?
Yeah, I'm just up on the podium, so I'll have a chat with the riders when they get up here, so you've got a few minutes yet, Al.
Perfect. We'll take a break here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki.
Live from British Superbikes, this is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
R&G, the world leader in damage protection products for motorcycles, is back as the official sponsor to the British Superbike Championship for the 12th year. R&G's damage protection and accessories are used by countless riders and racers around the world. Thousands of applications for hundreds of bikes and are trusted by teams across the BSB paddock. R&G's Pro Engine case covers are now included in the FIM Quality Products Programme. Visit the R&G official technical centre in the paddock to get your protection today and find out more at rg-racing.com. So no matter what you ride with R&G, if you slip it or slide it, you'll still be able to pick it up and ride it.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
The Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R, the most successful machine in world superbike history, gets a new look for 2026 with new aerodynamic winglets and a sharp, aggressive design. Built for those who rise to the challenge, the pinnacle of the Ninja family is built for champions, whether that's on track or on the road. Available from your local Kawasaki dealer now, so book a demo ride today and discover true adrenaline.
This is the sound of British Superbikes online and on FM radio. This is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
Here at Brands Hatch on 88.3 FM, a very good morning to you. We've got a race coming up for the Pirelli British Sport Bikes, and we've got a podium coming up with Larry Carter.
Thanks, Al. Yeah, the riders are making their way down here. It's a little bit of a trek to actually get from the Parc Fermé area. It's through a couple of doors, up a couple of flights of stairs, through another corridor, turn right, down another corridor, and hopefully you arrive at the podium at some point in time. So, and a lot of these riders, it's okay if you're a rider that's familiar with the podium at Brands Hatch, you know where to go. But a lot of the riders, I'm pretty sure that it's the first time that Alex Pearson, Jim Lee and Alex Vella have been on a Brands Hatch podium. So this is where the aforementioned Collies and a couple of championship winning Shepherds are required to actually get them here. I think we have actually managed to make it up here. Well done to Richard Fothergill for doing that. Here's Alex Pearson, here's Jim Lee. Not the Jim Lee that used to sponsor Mick Grant with the JL on the crash helmet. No, it's definitely this is the Stockton-on-Tees version, which is a much more modern one, and Alex Vella as well. So we've got Plated to do, Steve Plated to do the podium presentation. So let's get them out there then in the Rocket Off BMW F900R Cup last chance qualifier, third position then. That goes away of Evian Club 62 for Alex Vella. Well done, Alex, considering he's still carrying a little bit of an injury. Second position for OWR Racing and for Stockton-on-Tees, Jim Lee. And he was made to fight for it, but it is the race winner for Pearson Racing, an Element Passive Fire Protection, the race winner, Alex Pearson. Well done, Alex. And Steve Plater will make the podium presentation then to the third place rider, Alex Vella. Not too sure what the legacy of the injury is, but he's certainly going very, very badly, is Alex, one of the two racing brothers. Second position then, Jim Lee on the OWR, the British Racing Green machine, out there, number 92, and taking the victory, Alex Pearson. Alex from the Midlands, made his trip worthwhile down to Brands Hatch, and they all go through to the main event, as indeed do all of the finishers in that particular race. Thanks to Steve Plater for making the podium presentation with that. We're going to just shuffle the paperwork and leave the riders out there to celebrate with a Baglietti Prosecco. So with that, back to the studio.
Thanks very much indeed. We've got another announcement as well before we get back to Duncan. It is, could the owner of a blue Suzuki motorcycle AO11 NBX, AO11 NBX, could you return to your motorcycle as soon as possible? Thank you very much indeed. Right, bit of housekeeping this morning, Duncan. Sorry to interrupt.
It's perfectly fine, Alan.
Sorry to interrupt your coughing.
It's like yesterday when I had a can of Pepsi just before a race. Biggest mistake of my commentary career.
Yes.
We will cover a lot of the signings.
You were like a weeble.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We'll cover a lot of the pit lane walkabout stuff, which will be happening, remember, guys. That's at 11:30 till 12:25. And we'll also recap the Dave Neal Zen Zone, which we have across on the far side in that massive trade area that we have here at Brands Hatch. We will keep you up to date with everything that's going on. And we'll probably do that after this race. So we've given you a little heads up about you know what happens after this race. And we get the pit walk, and it's a big part of the weekend, isn't it? When people get to get down there in the actual pit lane and see the riders.
It's part of the DNA of the championship, isn't it? It's why these championships like BSB are so popular with the fans, because you do get the chance to meet your heroes, to get a photograph, to get an autograph, and just to spend a bit of time on the pit lane walkabout. My one bit of advice always for a pit lane walkabout is, if you have a favourite rider, to go there first. Not to think, okay, I'll do a couple more and I'll see my favourite rider in a minute, but go there first.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the It's King of Brands, 100 years of Brands Hatch, and It's Tools, the title sponsor this weekend, or the sponsor of the event. And we can see we've got a couple of It's Tools at the front of the grid there. Our It's girls holding up the banners proudly in front of this big grid of sport bikes that we have. And let's give you the grid as it sits
Ferry Freelackers is on pole from Harrison McKay and Taylor Rose, with Asher Durham, Dan Goodman and Alfie Davidson. Just give me a shout if Larry does get out there onto the grid, Alan. I can't see from where I am. We've got Lewis Smart, Zach Shelton and Harley McCabe on row 3, with Ed Best, Peter Willis and Cam Dawson on row 4. Row 5 is Aidan Davey, Joe Ellis and Zach Weston, with the 6th row Rhys Stevenson, Kieran Kent and Harry Cook. Row 7, Charlie Atkins, Lennon Docherty and Carl Harris, with row 8, Ted Wilkinson, Super Ted, Brodie Goth, one of our former Super Teen champions, and Finn Smart-Whedon, who joined us in the commentary box yesterday. Charlie Barnes has Callum Beach and Sam Green for company, with Aaron Robinson, Rossi Banham and Samuel Munson on the 10th row. Joshua Proudfoot, Sander Clausen and Jack Knights are on the 11th row. Row 12, Enrico Belsito, Brandon Keane and Max Wilson. The 13th row, Craig Dance, Max Chambers and Hayden Clinton. And 40th, Nick Cronin, all on his own. Number 19, Craig Dance, has a 3-place grid penalty after a decision from Snetterton. You may remember, Alan, we were dealing with an incident at Snetterton at the Wilson hairpin, and then unfortunately in came Craig Dance when the marshals were already clearing up at the trackside, and Craig then fell off. So crashing under waved yellow flags when marshals are trackside is a serious no-no, Heidi.
Absolutely, it is. Can I just point out, you just missed a great shot on the big screen, which was something that you should have used as your profile picture on social media, because it was somebody that had a radio headset on and he was fast asleep in a deck chair.
We have this effect on people, don't we?
Yeah, like that. So obviously doing a good job.
Sadly, the 3-minute board has gone, so grid has been vacated as we just wait for the thing. That's a 1-minute board that's gone. So sadly, we're not going to get down to the grid to have a chat to one or two of the riders for this one, but looking forward to this race nonetheless.
Yeah, Sportbike has been a sensation since it came into our championship. It started as a national championship and it then got elevated to British championship, and it really hasn't looked back. As we look at the championship standings coming in here, well, it's only a 20-point lead for Alfie Davidson after the Snetterton event. He didn't have a good Snetterton. Second place in the championship, Harley McCabe, equally not a great Snetterton, needs to have a better Brands Hatch. They only have one race at Brands Hatch this weekend. That's another key point. They're a single race at Snetterton and a single race at Brands Hatch. Also, the next time we go to Alton Park, one race. So this is a big part of their championship where they can't afford to lose points. Every other event has 2 chances of grabbing points, but you don't want to have a weekend where it doesn't work for you. Asher Durham, though, and Cam Dawson, the Powerside Suzukis, making their presence felt in the championship now, making their presence felt pretty strongly in this championship. Behind Cam Dawson in 5th place, the CF Moto of Aidan Davey. Then Harrison McKay, fresh off a victory at Snetterton. And Alan, you've been around motorsport long enough. You know what confidence can do to any racer, whether it's 2 or 4 wheels.
It's amazing, you know, when you see a driver or a rider take their first win in a championship. They may have been trying to do it for a year, maybe more than that. But once they get one win, it seems like they come along like the 94 bus in Orpington High Street.
They're like buses, that's what I was going to say. Exactly, they are like buses, and that's it. That's what Harrison McKay hopes for. He came here with a whole heap of enthusiasm and speed, and he ended up being fastest in free practice 1. He then went into free practice 2, and unfortunately he tipped off. It was inevitable, his mum said. It was always going to have to happen. The confidence was going sky high, but it's brought him back to a level where he knows he can operate. He's alongside Ferry Freelackers on the front row of the grid. Freelackers followed young Harrison McKay for the entire, from what I saw, morning warm-up session, just sitting in behind him. Harrison maybe didn't know he was there, showing him the way that Harrison rides his circuit. That will be an interesting fact from the race, because Freelackers now knows exactly what it's like to follow that young man as they go around. Making his way into the commentary box, fashionably late, we'll let him off. Get your breath back, Harrison Desoy. It's perfectly fine. I can hold this for a couple of laps. It's okay. 66 steps from the base to the top here, and it looks like he's ran up. There's a bit of sweat on his forehead, Alan Hyde. So
even for an athlete, it makes us feel a whole lot better about ourselves.
He's trying to say there's not sweat, and I was only joking there. But never let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's what James Whittam always told me many, many years ago. But yeah, the warm-up lap coming to an end for Sportbike. Grab yourself a seat. There we go. We'll get a headset on you in a second. And looking forward to this one. Sportbike has always given us some fantastic racing, and we've been lucky enough to also watch the young man who sits next to me in this series. Last year, he's now gone on to World Championship racing, and we'll cover maybe a little bit of that in the race if there's a point, or maybe very quickly at the end as well. But it's great to have Harrison Desoy
back with us at Brands Hatch. So here we go, the riders on the grid, just getting themselves ready, getting themselves into position, and we shall have a look down from the commentary box. You're now live, so just hang on. You're okay. Come in here like a spinning top out of control.
Sorry.
Just chill. You're
I'm
okay.
composed.
You've been here before. You know what you're doing. So let's see who gets the jump start here. Alan Moods moves himself from the front of the grid after the green flag is waved, and we're now under starters' orders. Finger on the button. Red lights coming on. Oh, we've got a yellow flag at the back. Hang on, we've got a yellow flag. Aborted start. We'll have an aborted start here. We'll need that. We've got yellow flags. Somebody has an issue. Is that Finn Smart Whedon? It is. They're going to push the Power Slide Suzuki off to the side. That's a great shame.
By the looks of it.
Is his visor on his helmet? Is that what's happened?
It is.
And there's something else. Charlie Atkins pointing to Rhys Stevenson, and there's all sorts of... Yeah, stop.
This is going to be a
That's Jack. There must be fluid coming out the bike of Rhys Stevenson, so that will be a delayed start. That's fabulous work there. We can see Jack Russell on the track with his hand in the air next to... Now we can see on the television screen what is coming out of that bike.
Like a bit of
fluid.
Water, I hope. Great spot from Charlie Atkins, though.
Yeah, Charlie Atkins
the fact
as well.
He was waving there and
he's a row behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pays dividends. Just checking what that is.
Because nobody wants to have that going around the circuit. So Rhys Stevenson, whether that's just coming back through the breather, it doesn't matter. If it's blowing water out of it, that's not a good thing. The temperature's obviously got too hot. He's going to get pushed off the grid. So Finn Smart Whedon, I wonder if he'll get to fix that visor and get going again. It looks like the marshal's trying to put his visor on, but his bike's coming across the track to go into pit lane as it should. Wow, what a dramatic non-start in this British sport bike race. Rhys Stevenson goes back into the pit lane. Here comes the Power Slide Suzuki. Finn Smart Whedon's going to turn around and realise that he doesn't have a bike across there as they're trying to put the visor back on that helmet. And there's nothing worse, Harrison, than having a wardrobe malfunction on the grid.
No, that is not ideal. He wouldn't have been hoping for that. It has, however, Duncan, given me a bit of time to recuperate myself. So, yeah, delayed start here. Frustrating for some of the riders. Obviously, they'll be, I don't know, slightly worried maybe about their tyre temperature now. They've been sitting on the grid for a good 2 minutes or so. Be interesting to see this first lap now. If they have another warm-up lap, which I assume they will do.
Yeah, another warm-up lap.
Yeah,
they will have one more.
Just to warm up those tyres.
I'm looking across Finn Smart Whedon standing there, visor fixed minus a bike. Now, I have seen this before actually. I seem to remember a visor coming off a BMW racer back at Oulton Park, and he raced for the entire heat with no visor. Wow. Yeah, and that was quite something. You could see the mascara streaming across the side of his face as he was going round, but he did do the race. But we're looking. This is directly below us. What you can see on the mains outside there, guys. A big screen showing Rhys Stevenson. So they're basically telling him, yes, you will be okay to start, but you have to wait until we get a green flag at the end of the pit lane.
That
Can
leads.
I very, very quickly say a word for the marshal that pushed Finn's bike off the grid, because the speed with which he did it and his return to post now, it was incredibly impressive, and he's sporting a very impressive beard as well.
Finn Smart Whedon is now running down pit lane to get back to his bike. So yeah, well, he will be able to start the race as well, albeit Harrison from the pit lane.
Yes, I mean it does. If they're allowing the marshals or allowing Rhys to go back out, that does usually mean it would have been water coming out of his bike, which I hope it is on the grid. That will probably dry up really by the time they get back round in this heat. But yeah, that's good to see Finn and Rhys being able to get back out now. Glad that Finn has been able to sort out his visor.
I think Charlie Atkins needs a bit of pat in the back.
He hasn't.
Actually,
it's still.
They're maybe trying to empty the belly pan of it. I mean, there's a little bit of residual water in there that they're just going to try and dry out. But it's a long enough lap here, and Rhys Stevenson won't panic, that's for sure. But the triumph, maybe just getting a little bit hot sitting on the grid there, it can happen, but it is an unusual thing, so we need to keep an eye on him during this race.
Yes, yeah. Ironman TT rider Rhys Stevenson, 114 mile an hour lap, if I'm not mistaken.
Impressive, isn't it?
Very impressive on his rookie debut.
Good little rider, Rhys. Sometimes doesn't get the rub of the green in the luck. There's a lot of water coming out that bike, actually, Harrison. That's a little bit. You'd be a little bit more concerned.
A little bit disconcerting.
They've either overfilled it or it's got an airlock, and if it's got an airlock and it's pushing it back out, that will not be good for the race. But you can see Finn Smart Whedon's underneath our gantry at the exit of the pit lane as well, and Jack Russell making sure everybody gets ready to go racing. And let's do that all again. But yeah, I think you said the right thing there. Well done to Charlie Atkins for spotting that, and he was waving his arms like crazy on the grid there to try and alert the marshals as to what was about to unfold if they didn't do something about it. So let's see what happens here. We are getting everybody put back into their grid positions, and we should be getting good to go.
What is interesting, Duncan, is that Finn is starting at the end of pit lane, whereas Reese isn't. So I wonder if they're
still holding Reese. They're still having a look at Reese's bike down here. Green flag at the back. Let's try that again. Alan Woods clears the front. We've now got an 11-lap race. Race distance has been shortened. Red lights on. And it's go down towards Paddock Hill Bend, and Freelackers gets a perfect launch.
Start.
Really good launch from Ferry
Harrison McKay
Freelackers.
really tight on the inside into Paddock Hill. Still holds second position though. Ferry Freelackers got about just a cut half-second lead into turn 1. Be interested to see if he can keep this, Duncan. He's had very strong pace all weekend, coming from the World Championships. Once he gets that sort of gap, it'll be very interesting to see if he can maintain it.
Everybody making their way through the heart of Druids. We can now see him coming down towards the exit of Paddock Hill Bend, and it is Freelackers. He lights at the back end, as Ferry there. He got away with that one. Down in the middle of the pack though goes one of the Power Slide Suzukis. Takes somebody else with him. And that's not what we want to see.
Is that Brody Gowiff? I think.
Could well be. And who's that? Is that
Zach West?
Zach? It could well be.
Dance,
actually,
maybe?
I think you're right. Actually, both on their feet, which
Yes.
what we like to see, both on their feet. Riders walking away from that. Well, we saw Ferry Freelackers having a bit of a warning before that. And he managed to
Harrison
hold
McKay,
that.
as we've been watching that accident, has shot up into the lead. He's clearly not listened to what I've said and taken back that lead straight away, which is brilliant to see.
Well, he's riding in a confidence wave, Harrison McKay. He really is. He's a crest of a wave. Everything that he does seems to go well. We're waiting to see exactly who has gone down. The confirmation, both riders are walking away, and they do seem okay. But McKay back towards the sharp end in this Pirelli British Sport Bike Championship race. Through Stirlings for the first time of asking. 3 bikes starting to just break away. 21 and 35 were the bikes that went down there. So it was Brodie Goth and Zach Weston. It's a good ident from you from some 100 feet in the air up here, I've got to say. Well done, young man. But look at this small gap now behind third place Taylor Rose. Taylor Rose, the last 2 events, has been sensational as Freelackers goes up the inside, parks it on the inside, and takes the lead away from Harrison McKay. That is a man that you've been racing against all year, Ferry Freelackers. You know how quick he can be.
Yes, a race winner. No, I mean, we can't put that aside. A race winner and podium finisher in the World Sport Bike Championship. He's coming to Brands Hatch. And it's interesting, Ferry has come from these sort of European circuits. As we look at the crash here, what happens? Brody Gowiff just lights up that rear tyre. Cold side of the tyre, really, on the left-hand side.
Zach Weston with nowhere to go but a launch pad.
Just gone straight into him. Glad to see both riders up on their feet though and all okay. But back to Ferry, he's an incredibly talented rider, and I think it's so good that these sport bike lads in BSB have now got someone to sort of use as a reference.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant to see that Harrison and Taylor, I mean Asher and Alfie are chasing them down as well.
Yep, McKay goes back towards the sharp end at Hawthorns. That confidence is doing him a world of good, but here comes Taylor Rose. He gets the best run through Hawthorns, but doesn't want to try and go up the inside into Westfields. Decides just to hold it back at that point as Freelackers has a bit of a wobble on the bike as it walks its way through the heart of Westfield. These three pulling away from Alfie Davidson, our championship leader, who sits in 4th place. And is that just behind him? Asher Durham, it certainly is. Asher Durham has made hay. Well, a few other people have had somewhat troublesome first laps. Then it's Joe Ellis, then it's Ed Best, Aidan Davey, Peter Willis and Zach Shelton, who needs to have a good race. He's not had a good round since pre-Knock Hill. It's not been good for him. As we catch up with Alfie Davidson, 4th place, but the 3 across the line again, slipstream. Here comes Freelackers again to the inside, but young McKay, you know Harrison McKay well, strong on the brakes there.
He's been absolutely incredible, really, Duncan, since he took a fantastic step at Snetterton. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that is his home round. And to have that pace, to break away by, I think, 4 seconds it was, for the level of field that is this year in sport bike is fantastic. It's really showing the confidence he's got on the bike. He had a little bit of a spill in free practice 2 on Friday, but he's sort of recuperated himself. He had a strong qualifying, battling for pole. I think he's another one for the shout for the win.
At Snetterton, he owned every session. He just looked so in control, but he never let it get to his head. He never looked cocky. He looked nice and calm. But they've got to watch Taylor Rose in this. McKay's now gone down to 3rd place. He's picking up a big hole in the air as he comes back through, and he goes past not 1 but 2 in towards Hawthorn. And Freelackers led onto that straight, and he comes through Hawthorns in 3rd because Taylor Rose also goes past into there. Now these three, they're maybe tripping each other up ever so slightly. We'll keep our eyes on the Alfie Davidson to Taylor Rose gap. Well, it's now Ferry Freelackers. It was 7/10 of a second, so there's a bit of work to be done there. At the incident at turn 3 lap 1, no further action. That's just a racing incident. They've badged us downstairs, which is good to see, but thankfully both riders on their feet and A-OK as they come back down into our zone, into our view at Clearways in front of the Brands Hatch Centre. It's still young Harrison McKay leading the way.
I think we're going to see some very hot pace here, Duncan. First flying lap is a 31.7, which is just 1/10 off the lap record as we watch them come over the line now.
You're looking at the new lap record for Taylor Rose. New lap record for Taylor Rose. That's
impressive. He takes the lead into turn 1.
He does. He is another rider who Snetterton and Brands Hatch has shown real potential, real pace. And he now leads the way from Harrison McKay. Look at this big gaggle with Aidan Davey with the Simsidis Kawasaki. Somebody, I mean, you don't ride across the apex curbs like that, Carl Harris. What are you doing?
I haven't seen a line like that into Druids. Taking the inside curb whilst on the brakes is very impressive.
I thought you were going to say for a long time. I haven't seen a line like that at Druids ever in my life. He was coming from a long way back, but that was, it was Aidan Davey and Ed Best, the CF Moto and the Simsidis Kawasaki at that sharp end, getting a little bit close to each other. Harley McCabe needs to have a good weekend here at Brands Hatch as we watch the leaders again fanning out down towards Hawthorns at the bottom of the hill. But McCabe, 7th place on the Rapid Aprilia, 2nd place in the championship. He didn't have the greatest of Snettertons. He needs to keep the momentum and the points going because, as you know, Harrison, that's what makes a championship. You've got to be good and strong at every round.
Consistency is key, and Harley's had a fantastic opening 3 rounds. I think he struggled a little bit at Snetterton. Maybe it was just a circuit he didn't really gel with. Snetterton isn't one I gel with as well, so I can understand him there. But, you know, he made good progress, especially in the race. I think he finished inside the top 10, which was a good result to pull from the tricky sessions he had the 2 days before. But, at this point now, it's just getting to the front of the group that he's in and trying to score as many points as
Harrison McKay putting a bit of time between himself, Taylor Rose and Ferry Fleerackers. I don't think that will last too long as Fleerackers goes back towards the sharp end. He was never meant to be here. 1:31.3. Alfie Davidson on a mission on the IN competition. Aprilia obliterates the lap record and the new one and has got himself onto the back of Taylor Rose. You pointed at the screen there, Harrison. That's a good spot, and it's what we expect from Alfie Davidson. You raced him last year, and you know that he's a fairly aggressive, fast but fair rider.
He's very good when hunting down other riders. I think Alfie's super strong, and what we want to do now is overtake, catch this group and push towards the front, and with that pace he's got at the moment, see if he can break away. I mean, he's caught that group. Asher just keeping the same distance away from behind. He'll be wanting to catch up there. He did set his personal best on the last lap and has actually set a purple sector 1, so Asher Durham on the hunt here.
Yeah, Fleerackers to the lead. Davidson trying to go round the outside of Taylor Rose. That's never going to happen. He cost himself a bit of time there, actually, running a bit deep past the turning point, missed the apex. It was high, wide and handsome all the way around Hawthorn, which you're closer to the trees than the apex. I don't fancy that. And again, McKay back up the inside of Fleerackers, but Fleerackers holds the position on the B-Art Suzuki as he goes over the crest of Sheen Curve into the lovely corner of Stirlings, which sees its fair share of action. And Harrison McKay doesn't look flustered. Anytime somebody passes him, I've got to see your namesake can answer back straight away, but the bike looks in control. It doesn't look like it's leaping about. The Mark Hanna effect and Derek Huxley, who are looking after that bike for him, with Sam Cox, giving him the platform to show just what he can do as he comes in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Through he goes once again on the inside, past the Armada Marine Cable Suite, which, if there's any place to overtake, is Paddock Hill Bend for him.
That's where to do it. Harrison really strong. He'll be relaxed. He knows he's got 6 laps to go. As Fleerackers lobs it up the inside into Druids, and Taylor takes well advantage of that. Very, very close move there. Harrison demoted from 1st to 3rd in 1 corner.
I've never heard lobs it up the inside used, actually, and that's a new one for
good
the
phrase.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Cheers, guys.
Well, let's watch him lob it up the inside again and towards Druid. Fleerackers did. He had to pick the bike up because he was going and carrying a bit of pace. He had to get back on that brake, and he didn't want to do it on a lean angle. But Taylor Rose, how opportunistic was that?
He took it, he saw the gap, and he went for it. It's a very late move there from Ferry, but he knew he had to commit to that. Otherwise, there was just a chance that they would have come together. He goes ultra defensive into Hawthorns, but Taylor...
Wow. Round the outside. One
Harrison
underneath.
McKay.
Yeah, they split him. Round the outside, Harrison McKay into 2nd place. Taylor Rose underneath Fleerackers in towards Hawthorn. That was incredible. Ferry, I wonder, what did I do wrong there? Nothing, really.
Ride it down.
Yeah, what bike is that? That's at the exit of Surtees. Portwest Racesafe Marshall's getting to grips with that.
Suzuki. That's not Carl Harris, is it?
That's a rocket bike. It could be one of them. They're just having a look at that. We'll see if it comes up on our screen in any second. But we're looking to see if we can get that, but we can't. Good camera picture for us. We saw it was the Rocket rookie Suzuki, as Harrison Desoy pointed out, but we don't know
Number
who.
9.
Carl Harris.
Yeah.
What a great shame. It's not been a good weekend for Carl. He tipped off in free practice 1 twice. And he did that rather exuberant line in towards Druids, and we've now seen him go down into the lead. Whoa, Ferry Fleerackers goes wide and through on the inside goes Taylor Rose, lifts Fleerackers. Oh, down goes Taylor Rose. He goes down and takes Fleerackers wide. Now that was just a mess from the braking zone into Paddock Hill Bend till we got to the bottom of it. Thankfully, Fleerackers just skimming past Taylor Rose as they went down there, but that was just pure messy from the way they got into the corner.
That was a very late move from Taylor into Paddock Hill, but he made it stick, you know, as he exited a little bit wider than he would have done. He's carrying a bit more lean angle, but trying to get on the gas at the same point is just where the tyre hasn't got as much grip on the side of the tyre. It's just lit up, and unfortunately
that will have rung his bell. That'll knock the wind right out of him, and he'll take a couple of seconds to get away from that, and that's obliterated the pack and not handed it to Harrison McKay because he was very much there, but he's got a comfortable little buffer. It was only 400 or 14 thousandths of a second across the line, but that has got a lot bigger, and what we do have is he's on his feet being helped away. I do hope we're giving him a big round of applause down there, because that was some fabulous racing that we were seeing from these guys at the sharp end, as young Taylor Rose on his feet making his way to the marshals. We'll see a replay on the big screen. Talk us through it.
I mean, Ferry's gone underneath, and Taylor has just felt like he can carry the speed underneath him. And as like I said, as he's just gone a little bit wide, he's gone to get on the power. Ferry's just got caught up, and he's just fortunately sent himself.
We're going to say off the racing line, full lean, asking for a bit too much. That's a big place to high side as well, isn't it, Paddock Hill Bend? See the air suit going off, the air vest going off just before impact.
It's fantastic to see him on his feet though, Taylor.
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
a crash like that.
Lovely kid. And poor Ferry Fleerackers got taken wide. We're going to see Carl Harris go down. Look for the Rocket Ricky's bike. Down he goes. And he's just not had a good weekend, young Carlos. As we see a second replay of this one. Down he goes. And I think he's already been sore before he got to this point, to tell you the truth. But the gap across the line, 1.9 seconds. And what we have seen here, and what we can see, is Harrison McKay now try and control the race, because Alfie Davidson, he wants to catch him, but he's got bigger problems in the shape of Asher Durham behind, and that's going to take a little bit of his concentration.
I think these two know, with the gap that's to Harrison now. Harrison has just set his PB lap 31.5 on his last lap as well. That is goes to show he can do the pace on his own. You know, these two, Asher and Alfie, have now, I'd say, in a battle for second. It's a bit of a challenge to catch Harrison, especially with the lap times he's doing, but it's a free-for-all now, Duncan.
We haven't seen back-to-back winners in the British Sport Bike Championship since round one this year, when Alfie Davidson utterly dominated Oulton Park for every session, and these two keep swapping positions, and all that does is it just trips him up and gives a little bit extra time to Harrison McKay, who can just ride the track and make sure his Armada SC31 Aprilia is in good hands.
Purple sector 3 for Harrison. Just goes to show he's still pushing.
They need to calm him down a bit here. There needs to be an OK sign on the pit board. That's what P1 OK. With the gap plus 1 point or plus 2 OK. As these guys battle behind, across the line comes young Harrison McKay in towards turn 1. There's a diminished adhesion flag down there, which is the yellow with the red stripe through it. It's probably just a little bit of gravel, because the track will be a bit different after. When a bike goes into the gravel, it tends to fire gravel in every direction, and it'll just be a little bit of something on the track. Nothing too much for him to worry about. But Alfie Davidson was wide through Paddock Hill Bend, and through an inside goes the Power Slide Suzuki of Asher Durham. Lovely move.
Great battle here, going on for second. Asher saw that Alfie was a little bit wide on the exit, could use the power of that Suzuki to go up the hill. He's sticking his elbow out there, isn't he? Elbow down through Graham Hill Bend. Great shot there from the cameraman.
And Asher as well always takes an outside foot off the peg as well, gets himself right off the side of the bike. Let me have a little run deeper into the pack, because behind Ferry Fleerackers, who's on back in 4th place, he's got Harley McCabe, then Zach Shelton, Aidan Davey, Ed Best, Peter Willis, and Cam Dawson in 10th place. Then Charlie Atkins in 11th on the second of the Sim Series Kawasaki's, ahead of Ted Willis, Joe Ellis, Lewis Smart, Dan Goodman, Harry Cook, Lennon Docherty in 18th place, ahead of Callum Beach returning from injury, and Charlie Barnes rounding out the top 20 on the second of the Sencat Aprilias. The gap at the front, 3.7 seconds from Harrison McKay back to Asher Durham, and that has just, it was 1.9, but the tripping up of these two other guys has really just opened it up. Ferry Fleerackers could be the one to watch. He might get his way back up if we have enough laps left in this race. It's going to be a tall order, but if anybody can, Ferry can.
He's got 3 laps to well, 2 laps to go now, and he set purple sector 1 and a personal best in sector 3 and 4. Ferry Fleerackers on the hunt here. I'm quite keen to see if he can close this gap. 3.2 seconds, and as he just said,
fastest first sector, and then personal best after that, 31.3 for Alfie Davidson. Well, that's the fastest lap that we have seen, but Fleerackers does a 31.4, so he's on lap record pace, Ferry Fleerackers. The guys ahead of him are
some 2 seconds slower than him on a lap right now.
All this battling between Asher and Alfie really isn't helping each other. With Ferry setting his PB lap, you know, he's getting into this rhythm now where he can building it. Just as he sees, as we come through Sector 1 now and set another purple sector. Yeah, he's on the hunt, Duncan. I think he smells a podium.
The young man, the Belgique, as Larry called him yesterday on the BR Racing Suzuki. They first arrived here with an Aprilia, but the BR team now very much with the Suzuki. And let's see what the second sector comes back through for Flea Rackers as he dips down into the bottom. It's a 16.3. It's only 3/10 away from the fastest sector in that area, but that's without a toe. If you had a toe, you're guaranteed that will be there. He's working so hard to get up to the back of 64 Asher Durham and 28 the championship leader Alfie Davidson on the IN competition Aprilia as they come through. Brilliant camera work from the guys here as they make their way through Sheen Curve, and look how much Flea Rackers has closed through that area, and a personal best sector. Yes, he is dragging single-handedly dragged himself in a lap up towards the back. We were questioning a lap ago, can he make the gap disappear? As he comes into the Indy section, he could possibly slingshot both of them towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's getting a huge slipstream as they come down. Davidson pops out one way. Flea Rackers comes back up the inside and passes one.
Oh, what a lap. A 1:30.9 on the sport bike. That is 7 tenths quicker than the previous lap record set by Eduardo Colombi. What a lap from Ferry.
That's an angry Ferry Flea Rackers. He would be thinking he'd be having a victory, and he goes past Asher Durham. So he's gone from 4th to 2nd in 2 corners. Alfie Davidson capitalises on Asher Durham having his eye line just taken away from that. He gets into the final spot on the podium. So these guys were both on the podium a lap ago. We're now on the last lap of the race. Davidson and Durham are now scrapping for the last place on the podium. There's 2 guys going for 1 podium step.
There's 3-second gap, Duncan. 3.5-second gap with 2 laps to go for Ferry Flea Rackers.
What do you think of that? 1:30.9.
That is an incredible lap on a sport bike. If you compare this to the stock 6 times, that wouldn't put him far off the front row of the grid.
I have to also say that he had the perfect slipstream down towards Clearways and the perfect slipstream across the line. He worked that perfectly. Almost like the teammates were trying to tow him on, but he just used them. He knew what he was doing. He's a classy little rider, Ferry Flea Rackers, and he delivers some great interview to Larry Carter. We'll hear from him hopefully after this race, should he finish this next half lap on the podium, but nothing's a given in this class.
They've caught him back up, although Ferry overtook with some great momentum. Alfie and Asher have kept that gap towards him. I wonder if we're going to see a move into Clearways here, but
we need to wait for the leader coming in. Here comes Harrison McKay. It's been a sensational run. Back-to-back victories for the Armada SE31 rider. Harrison McKay wins. He will be delighted, as will the team. And look at the charge for second place. It will be for Flea Rackers. Alfie Davidson will hold third place, and Asher Durham just misses out on the podium. Coming across the line in 5th place, Harley McCabe, Aaron Davey, Ed Best, Zach Shelton and Peter Willis all together. And behind that, we have got Charlie Atkins, Cam Dawson, Kieran Kent, a good 12th place for Kieran Kent, Ted Wilkinson, Lewis Smart, Dan Goodman, Harry Cook, Joe Ellis. We wait for Beach and Doherty. They go through Callum Beach and Lennon Doherty. And Charlie Barnes, the second of the Sencut bikes, will come across the line in 20th place with Barnum and Sander Clausen beside him. What a race that was. We've just seen a new lap record. We've just seen the old lap record completely and utterly annihilated. There's a good word by Ferry Flea Rackers and also Alfie Davidson, but that 1:30.9, take my hat off to that young man there.
Definitely. Incredible lap there from Ferry Flea Rackers. Goes to show what these bikes are capable of, I think.
And the slipstream just being perfect. But it's one thing getting a lap record. It's the man that picks up the victory. Back-to-back victories. Armada SC31 Racing, the Aprilia of Harrison McKay. He will be delighted, as will the team. Larry Carter will pick up Harrison McKay, Ferry Flea Rackers and Alfie Davidson and have a chat with those guys about the spoils of the podium and Harrison's back-to-back victories. Harrison McKay, Harrison Desoy, thank you very much. We wish you the best of luck in the World Sport Bike. We keep our eyes on it. It's a shame you didn't race at Donington. Hopefully next year that will be different and we bring the Sport Bike class to the World Championship round in the UK.
Fingers crossed. I'd love to be there. It'd be fantastic to have a home round and on the world stage, but we'll only have to wait and see.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll push mute up here and we'll hand down to Larry Scoop Carter, or will we actually bounce it to Heidi because it's a long in lap, Alan?
Yeah, and also I'm being a little bit like the fun police today, aren't I? I've got another couple of announcements. 2 bikes that have been left in P mode, so the batteries are going to be flat by the end of the afternoon. Both of them in the blue car park, LX26F SFZ, LX26 SFZ, and Y88 Y88MRL, Y88MRL. Suggest you go back and switch the lights off in those two bikes in the blue car park. So sorry about this, quite a few announcements, and that's a reflection, I think, that we've got an awful lot of people here at Brands Hatch, and it's great to have you all here. If you are around Colin Chapman Way at the moment, around the trade area, then you'll know that we have a Meet the Riders area at the Zin Zone, and that's located very much in the heart of the trade area. Dave Neal is conducting interviews over there on the stage, and we've got plenty of legends this morning at the end of this afternoon as well. And in just about 5 minutes' time, Neil Mackenzie appearing down there with Dave Neal on the Meet the Riders area in the Zin Zone. So Neil Mackenzie at 11:30. Larry Carter is down there on ground level.
Yeah, made it down to Park Ferme, where once again Harrison Mackay's mum Tammy just says we're getting like number 12 buses now, aren't we? 2 comes along at once, given that he adds to his victory at Snetterton a couple of weeks ago. But what a ride by a recovery ride from Ferry Fleerackers, the Belgian rider who is in from the World Championship for another ride here in the Pirelli British Sport Bike Championship. Well, if he'd have been up there at the front, it might have been a different story there. But let me just grab a quick word with Ferry down here. Oh, Ferry, had it not been for that incident down there at Paddock Hill Bend, then it might have been a different story, but that was some pace that you put in to get back here onto the podium.
Yeah, a bit unlucky, I think. The pace was hot already, and I don't know what he did. First he smashed into the side of me, and then he crashed and had to go in the gravel. But yeah, bummed, because I think this could have been a win again, but yeah, on to the next one.
Yeah, on to the next one. You just have to come back at Alton Park and do it all over again.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think so now, but we'll see.
Well, you're always welcome here, Ferry. You know that one, that is for sure. Well, there is Harrison Mackay, just has a chat with his mentor, Mark Hanna, down there. And he says, well, Harrison, I'll tell you what, mate, considering you couldn't win for anything earlier on in the season, there's 2 on the belt end.
Yeah, I think it's just, I'm loving the bike at the moment. Me and the bike are almost like at 1. So it's just, everything's working out right, and I'm just super happy to get 2 wins in a row.
It's all going on behind you, mate, just as well you didn't have any mirrors.
Yeah, I didn't really know what happened, to be honest. I knew Taylor and Fleerackers had a bit of a moment at turn 1, and then I never saw anyone again, so God knows what happened.
Yeah, well, they had coming together, Taylor went down and Ferry ended up in the gravel, but so we broke the lap record on the way back. Another couple of laps, it might have been a different story, but anyway, you got the victory, that's all that matters.
Thank you.
Well done. And the other rider that's on the podium, I got into trouble off Ian Newton by saying it was lacklustre performance at Snetterton. Well, it wasn't. It was a problem issue with the motorcycle. But Alfie, it's great to have you back on the podium here. This is where you belong.
Yeah, I'm happy with myself. I didn't have the pace by myself, if I was being honest. So I just sat behind Asher, played my cards, and then made an overtake when I could at the last lap.
Were you surprised to see Ferry, given that you'd have probably got a bird's eye view of that incident there? He's in the gravel, nearly off the bike and whatever. The next thing, he's passing you.
Well, he's a world rider, isn't he? So he's going to do that.
Yeah, but that's important points in towards the championship. You just need to get back to winning ways now.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Well done. Thanks, Alfie. Well, that's the top 3 then. We're going to head upstairs to the podium. Take me 2 minutes to get back up there, Al. So with that, back to you in the studio.
Thanks very much indeed, Larry Carter here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, 88.3 FM. We won't go to a commercial break because we have loads of messages. Good morning, everyone. Can I say hello to Tommy Hill, and a big thank you for signing my hat and jacket. It took me years with Tommy's Swan Yamaha jacket to get his autograph. Could you please say hi to Neil Mackenzie and James Wilkinson? That's from Steph Ladd. Thank you very much indeed, Steph. Great to have you listening, and we shall pass your message on to Tommy Hill. And this one says, morning, Steve, Joe and family. Love from the Jennings family. Hope you have a lovely day at BSB. Thank you very much indeed, Dave. And a shout out to the Conchi Smith family, being Molly, George and Isla's first time at racing. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for your message. WhatsApp 07482 877 877. WhatsApp 07482 877 877. This one says, hello season BTCCers at all tracks and first time BSBers. So joined you at our local track. Having a fab weekend so far, and great to hear some familiarity that is Alan Hyde in the box. Lewis Lou and Mike. Thank you, Lou and Mike. Great to have you here. Keep your eyes out. I think there might be another BTCC personality here today, and is enjoying the motorcycle racing for the second weekend this year. And Lou and Mike say child-free today, but enjoyed bringing the kids yesterday. Great to have you here, and you see, it's cross championships, isn't it? 4 wheels, 2 wheels, it's all motorsport, and great motorsport it is. Larry Carter is ready with a podium.
Yeah, we are ready with a podium with the top 3 riders that I've just interviewed, and Mum's here as well. Tammy's here to collect the team award on behalf of the race winner, Harrison Mackay. So just wait to make sure we get clearance. Yep, we got the thumbs up from Richard. Let's get them out here then, as normal, in round 5. Race 8 of the Pirelli British Sport Bike Championship, as they just watch the TV screen. So onto the podium for the 7th time this season for iron competition on the Aprilia. 3rd place then to Alfie Davidson. Well done, Alfie, congratulations. He is on to P3. 2nd position then for BA Art Suzuki, and for Belgium, Ferry Fleerackers. What a ride it was from the Belgian rider to get up there onto the podium. And after the victory at Snetterton 2 weeks ago, it's a 2 out of 2 for the race winner for Armada SC1 31 Aprilia, Harrison Mackay. And Tammy will collect, Harrison's mum will collect the team award on behalf of the Sam Cox Armada SC31 Aprilia squad. And last time we counted from Pirelli to make the podium presentation to the 3rd place rider, Alfie Davidson, back on the podium after a disappointing time at Snetterton a couple of weeks ago. He has got his championship back on track. 2nd position, well, he told me he wasn't coming to Brands Hatch, and when I quizzed him about coming to Alton Park, I'm not sure about that one. Hopefully we'll see him again before too long, Ferry Fleerackers. But taking a momentum into the next round at Alton Park with a race victory, that goes the way of Harrison Mackay. And Mum holds the trophy aloft there. Up until Snetterton, they'd not got a winner's trophy by right, and now he's got 2 in 2 weekends. So great to see that they have done that. And for the local team of Sam Cox and the SC31 Armada team, you got away with that one, Sammy. What does this mean for the team? Because, you know, you've had all the bad times to put up with, the win that was taken away at Snetterton in the Moto3 Cup and everything else, but 2 on the 2, it's, you know, you must be living the dream, Tammy.
Yeah, it's, I just have no words. I think he's just matured over looking at it as a mother, these last few months. He's working hard, he's just matured all round, and we've got a fantastic team back behind us with Armada, Sam Cox and Derek and Mark and the whole team, having the wild cards with Wardy and Emily and Tom Oliver and Sam. You know, that extra experience they're really rubbing off on Harrison, and he loves working with them, and they just everybody believes in him, and he's finally believing in himself.
Yeah, you've got your home round at Cadwell Park coming up in a couple of rounds' time. We were dreaming about that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be a bit different because, as you know, with the Moto3, obviously now Moto4, we never went there, so it is a track that he's not been to that much. We've done a couple of track days, we've done a race weekend, but yeah, that one's going to be a tough one, to be honest.
I've got to enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure all Salty Sellers will be taking half a shandy on board later on tonight as well. So normally we get the messages in, don't we, from Tammy? Do you remember, Al?
I do.
You do remember. I wasn't going to venture that for a public audience, but suffice to say, I might just mention that one to her off air.
I think you're right.
Well, that just about wraps things up for this morning's action. We're going into this lunchtime recess already. The massed ranks of spectators making their way across for the pit lane walkabout. Don't forget to bring your programme across with you. Get them autographs across here on the autograph page. See how many you can get. But for now, I think Alan Hyde is going to have 1 or 2 guests up there in the studio to take you through the short lunchtime recess before we go racing again immediately after the lunch break. Back to you, Al.
You're right, Larry. Thank you very much indeed. You're passing the baton over to Duncan, who is heading down to ground level, where we've got a splendid fleet of BMWs, track BMWs, part of the BSB package, that are about to give some very lucky VIP guests a fast lap around the circuit here on the Grand Prix circuit. What an opportunity that is. It's just such a special circuit, the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch, and to get the opportunity of being driven by one of our pro drivers at the wheels of those BMWs is quite exceptional. I know Duncan is taking the radio mic down to the grid as well. And if you're watching on our YouTube stream, our live stream, you'll see that the pit lane walkabout is well underway. Loads of people making their way down from the top gate at the ambulance gate at Paddock Hill Bend and making their way across the circuit on the tarmac at Brands Hatch. I know plenty of people take the opportunity to stop for a selfie or two as they come across on the circuit. We've got our first guest is lined up. Dean Cluley from Kawasaki is going to talk to me in a couple of minutes, talk to all of us about all things in the Kawasaki world. We might ask him about his own motorcycling exploits over the last couple of weeks as well. And if you are making your way down to the pit lane, there is one bit of advice on the pit lane walkabout. If you have a favourite rider, go there first. Join the queue, go there first. Otherwise, you may end up disappointed because it is filling up as we speak. We take, here's Duncan down on ground level.
Just thought we'd say hello. We're down here on the grid. It's great to see so many people, first of all, in the pit lane. The pit lane walkabout, you can look out the window, Alan, and they're still coming through from the other side of the circuit, which is great to see. A lot of people doing laps in the BMWs. We've got Pillion bikes as well. And myself and Stuart Higgs are down here. And Stuart, we've got something pretty special that we're about to do on the grid.
Yeah, look, this year is all about the 30th anniversary of the British Superbike Championship. It's a big milestone. We've got, obviously, bikes that have defined the period. We've been doing that all throughout the year. The iconic liveries returning this weekend as well. But there's an incredible group of people that have been with us from the start. They preceded the start of this modern era that we call it, the 30 years from 1996. And it is our marshals. We created this incredible organisation called Race Safe, which coincided with the start of this new era back in 1996. And it redefined the standards of motorcycle race organisation, circuit safety, and the general good of the sport. And it's something that I know is truly respected worldwide. And week in, week out, the Race Safe marshals, they perform the most incredible professional level of service. I mean, yesterday we saw a very dramatic incident, so calmly managed by this group of guys and girls. But we've got a very, very special group of people that have been here from the start. They were there from the very first event on the end of March 1996 at Donington Park when we started, and it is what the founder members of Race Safe. And there's a few of them here today. Most of them, in fact, are here today, and we've got 8 people that are going to receive this special award. So, Duncan, if you want to take it from left to right, and we'll do the presentation.
Yeah, well, we'll do it. Guys, first of all, thank you on behalf of everybody that's here in the circuit, professional marshals and professional racers. This is fabulous. So, first of all, we'll have Annie Bridger coming forward, please. If Annie Bridger wants to come forward, Annie, we'll get a picture with yourself and Stuart. Thank you very much. 30 years of service. One of the many founding members. Let's hear a nice round of applause, everybody. Thank you very much. Annie gets her lovely little certificate there. We have also got Max Streetfield. So where's Max? Over you come, Max. Thank you, Max. Thank you for your service as well. Remember, without marshals, we simply don't go racing. It's as simple as that. And Stuart hit the nail on the head. The professionalism of yesterday was shining through. Where's Jeff Bacon? Over you come, Jeff. Jeff Bacon, one of our marshals.
It's been a journey.
Stuart said it's been a journey, Jeff. It probably has. 30 years of service. I mean, Race Safe goes hand in hand with the British Superbike Championship and the Port West Race Safe marshals, as I do call them, doing a fabulous job, along with our technical team as well. This one hiding behind here. Oh, Merrick. Where's Merrick? My good friend who helps set up so many things pre-event as well. Merrick Jones, the man who is putting up signs, doing all sorts of things, not just a marshal, an extra pair of special helping hands. Thank you very much. The next one, Stuart, we have here is Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore, if you'd like to pop across. Professional Geordie. There is one. The Professional Geordie of Stephen Moore. There we go. Another nice picture from Cammy. Thank you. And we now have Dave Cooney. Where's Dave? Oh, Big Dave. Big Dave. There's almost a half smile coming from Dave here. Just a little bit of a grin. Nice embrace from Stuart Higgs, the series director, to Dave. Great stuff to see that. Thank you very much, Dave. We need to get you a new hat, Dave. It should be a Pirelli one we've got you there, actually. We'll get rid of that one. Okay, where's Adrian Gilbury? Where's Adrian? Where's Adrian? Adrian, is he here? Adrian not here? Here he is at the back. Come on, Adrian, come on over. Thank you, Adrian. Congratulations. Great stuff. And of course, every club, every team has a chief, and it gets looked after so well. So let's hear it for our Chief Marshal and the man behind RaceSafe, John Proctor. Thank you, John. There you go. Another half smile. So we're needing to get John a new set of overalls as well, Stuart. They've kind of used to be orange at one point there, so we'll get John a nice new set. But John, if you're going to have a quick word, I know how much you do behind the scenes, but this must mean so much to you and the guys.
Yeah, I mean...
You can hear yourself now, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, the team work really hard. It's a team. We're here week in, week out. 200 marshals standing trackside in heat like this. They do a fantastic job.
John, thank you very much. And Stuart Higgs, I think that says it all.
Look, these are, I mean, I'm pretty emotional. These guys and girls, they've been with us for 30 years. They are friends as well as colleagues, and we've had some difficult days, but we've had some flipping great days. And, you know, this means the world to us. This is I've often said, when I write the book, the greatest thing I think we've done as an organisation is create RaceSafe, and it's a credit to everybody involved and to John in particular, who just puts up with managing the unmanageable. But no, well done, John, and thank you again, everybody.
Thanks. Guys, we'll get a group picture now. If we get everybody together, I think that'd be a perfect thing to have a group picture. And a nice moment down here on the grid, Alan Hyde, and that's fabulous. John didn't like having the microphone there, actually.
Absolutely lovely thing.
We'll get Stuart involved in the group picture as well. The boss man in. One with, one without. One with, one without. Smile, John. Come on, give us a smile. It's okay. That hard bit's done now. So RaceSafe, 30 years. It's almost a birthday year for RaceSafe, as it is for the British Superbike Championship. So fabulous. The pace cars are about to go and do some hot laps around the circuit once we get the last of our pit lane walk people across the track. It's a busy pit lane, and we've also got some pillion laps that we will be doing. So we'll pause for a little bit. I'll head into that pit lane, see if there's people we can grab. But Alan Hyde, Larry Carter, that was fabulous.
That
Deserved
was lovely.
for RaceSafe.
Absolutely lovely. Dean Cluley from Kawasaki and I were just looking down from the studio and seeing that. Absolutely, Stuart said everything that needed to be said. These are top people that commit so much time to the sport that we love, and it's so lovely to have them recognised down there on the grid. Great work, Duncan. Thank you very much indeed. Here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, and we're talking all things Kawasaki after this.
From every circuit, this is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
Want to discover the latest Kawasaki range of machines? The Kawasaki Experience Tour is heading to dealerships across the UK throughout the summer, giving riders the chance to ride the latest 2026 bikes. From A2-friendly machines such as the Versys 650 to new models like the KLE 500, the Z1100 and the Z650S. View the full list of events and book your place at kawasakiexperiencetour.co.uk.
Have you had a non-fault motorcycle accident? Don't let it put the brakes on your ride. McCams gets you back on the road with a like-for-like replacement bike. No insurance excess to pay, and you keep your no-claims bonus. And if you've been injured, Bond Turner's expert solicitors will work to secure the compensation you deserve. McCams and Bond Turner, supporting bikers every step of the way. Call 0345 054 1000 today, and we can help you get back onto two wheels.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
Loads of very lucky guests are queuing up down there on the grid, on the grass, just to the left-hand side of the grid here at Brands Hatch, about to get a ride around the circuit. There is a very, very full pit lane where Duncan Vincent has gone, and joining us up here in the commentary box is Dean Cluley from Kawasaki. And but you're not in the regular colours this year. I keep getting thrown, Dean, when you come to join me.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a wardrobe, haven't we? So we
Yes,
have Bimota and Kawasaki. Just before we carry on, I just want to say what a classy tribute.
Wasn't that nice?
To Race Safe
was
and the marshals. I know a lot of people say, but genuinely, without those boys and girls, we can't go racing. So I think that's an absolutely fantastic.
And when you say we, you mean we, because you're a racer yourself.
I rotate.
Yeah.
These guys here on something special, but no, we at Kawasaki actually everybody tries riding, whether there's some racing or whether it's some road riding. If we want to try and be good at what we do, let's be passionate about what we do, and that's the DNA of Kawasaki.
Absolutely right. Talk me through Bimota. Obviously, things are going pretty well in the championship. Could you have thought at the start of the year that the first year for Bimota in this national championship would be quite as good as it is?
The simple answer is no, not as good as it was. In the beginning, the project very closely between KRT, Ross Burridge from Kawasaki and FS3 was on paper, we felt the bike could do well, but a lot of things look good on project, on paper. In reality, it's different. Here we are now at Brands. I think it's been absolutely outstanding. I think FS3 are a fantastic team to work with and to be custodials of the brand being introduced to BSB. There's a fantastic link to KRT. Again, credit to FS3 because Kawasaki racing team are really happy working with those, so that shows the level.
Yeah, that synergy has just clicked, hasn't it? It's just worked.
It's actually very rare to see. There's often been factory tie-ins with other brands, but to this level, and that's a compliment to FS3. And then obviously we got the pilots. Max has done fantastic. That bike's just helped him make that one bit of step, and I think everyone's talking about Max, but actually Joe, for a rookie, consistently now, it's almost as if he's not in the top 10. We feel like he's having an off day.
So it's a good choice, isn't it? Good pairing.
I just think it's absolutely
for
great.
Joe to learn as well.
Yeah. So you know, with Joe, it's all fresh. He's learning. With Max, he's got some superbike experience. So when we listen to his feedback, and you hear it yourself. He loves that bike. It's almost like he can take liberties with the bike.
He's a race winner in waiting, isn't he, this year?
Yeah. Listen, you've got to do a tip of the cap. Those front two, they're pushing that pace beyond. You know, I saw Max this morning. I said, Max, any other year you would have won that by a long way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
that's what we want to see. This is what BSB's fantastic for. Keep pushing. We want to see lap record pace being beaten. And
he was outstanding at Thruxton last year. So I'm looking forward to Thruxton. You know.
Yeah, I don't think the team would want us to him replicate everything because I think there was a fine margin even for Max to it being a hero to zero.
On the edge, I think is the phrase.
Very much so. But no, listen, it's the Bimota project's been fantastic. And at the heart of it is a Kawasaki ZX10RR engine. So it shows, you know, some of the skeptics previously that is more than enough. With the bespoke chassis, it's a prototype chassis, if you like. That's what Bimota have been fantastic, fantastically known for. And what people don't quite realise, you know, Kawasaki owns Bimota. We own that. So this is where it's that perfect mix of that chassis development, R&D, with the engineering prowess of Kawasaki and KHI.
So that's the important part about how the connection is with Bimota. Can you just tell me a little bit how long Kawasaki and Bimota have been together as the same family?
It's we started to get together 2019. There was the Tessie with the H2R engine in, so that was showcased at EICMA, which is the big bike show in Milan. And then from then on, the project kind of snowballed to all of a sudden wholly owned. So it's a very interesting project commercially and for racing, and it's one that we're still learning and pushing. We've got a small network of Bimota dealers in the UK, so get onto bimota.co.uk, look at your dealers, and we've got 3 fantastic bikes. One's the KB998. And honestly, if you see the bike in the showroom to what you see in FS3's garage, there's not a lot of difference. You are buying a true race homologated bike.
Thoroughbred.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And then we've obviously got the KB4, which has got a 1000cc similar engine to the SX. So it's a really smooth riding bike, cafe racer. And then we've got the Tessie Terra with the adventure bike, so long travel suspension. It's got the H2 engine. So
Yes.
to say you want to go touring in a supercharged engine, you're smiling.
That's something special.
And all of the above are just dripping in billet alley carbon fibre. They are such.
They are gorgeous, aren't they? Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I got a chance to have a closer look at them at World Superbikes at Donington last week, and boy, oh boy.
Well, there's the KB4 here. So if the boys and girls, the crowd go over to the FS3 hospitality by the over there, then the KB4 is on showcase.
Sat outside.
It's just such a wonderful part of motorcycling. Is we're all quite vain whether we like it or not. That's why we've got colourful helmets and dark visors.
Yeah, it's true.
And when you turn up to a bike meet and you're on a bike which everyone crowds around, then that's a massive tick in the box. And one thing for sure, it's plug and play with a motor. You'll get that.
Yes.
But then you're also getting the backup of the warranty, the engineering prowess of Kawasaki. It's the Kawasaki dealers that are running the bikes.
It's perfect fit, really, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. So it's such an exciting project. And then, like I say, being spearheaded by the excitement of racing. There's only 4 race bikes in the world. 2 at World Championships with Alex and Axel, and 2 are here today.
We've got 2 here.
So when the crowd are doing this pit lane walk now and they see those bikes, you've got to remember there's only 4 in the
racing
world.
in the world.
Yeah. And that shows how great BSB is considered.
Something special, isn't it? Really special.
Yeah.
It is a great year, and it's great to talk to you about positive things. And as far as Kawasaki are concerned, thank you so much as ever for supporting what we do, our broadcasts over the course of the championship year with BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki. I wondered at the start of the year if Kawasaki was going to become, for BSB Radio, if it was going to rebrand and if it was going to become Bimota for this year. But Kawasaki is the important part of this, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose that one way to put it into my words, it's Bimota powered by Kawasaki.
Yeah.
So no, we are in harmony together alongside each other. Kawasaki is where we're passionate here in the UK. We're having a fantastic year with our models through our dealer network. So we're having a really good, successful year.
You've got a lot of offers on because we were obviously we play adverts. It's part of our deal with Kawasaki on BSB Radio, and you always plan quite a bit for summer, don't you?
Yes. We've been saying this for a few years now because we're the same. We're human beings. We all have our own mortgage and stuff. It's affordability. We don't want this hobby to become too far out of reach.
Yes.
So we literally will sit in our meetings at the office and say, well, if I was a customer, this would help me go out and buy one and be able to own one or have a motorcycle to use at the weekend. So we probably try and just reverse engineer it as a customer. What do we want? So we've got lots of offers, which is frustrating for our dealers sometimes, bless them, because there's a lot, but we try and make it simple. But the difference there is every single person here today, no matter what bike you ride, we will make it as affordable as possible. You go to your dealer, you can demo a bike. I think it's really important. Nobody makes a bad bike these days.
No.
Some make exceptional bikes with 4-year warranty as standard, and they're called Kawasaki's. So you go to your dealer, you demo a bike. The dealers are really good at helping you choose what's best for you. And then there's an offer that will make it as affordable as possible, whichever means you're looking to. So whether that's, for argument's sake, we've got some ZX10 RRs. We're all talking Bimotas. We've still got the ZX10 RR, Gerloff Racing at World Championship. That's a race homologated bike. We've got a fantastic offer on that at the moment, where you can go to Almeria, get a track day, and it's a much cheaper bike to purchase. And then we've got the KLE 500, which is a cracking adventure bike that's new to market. So there's such an array, and this is where we haven't got enough time. And I suppose as much as we could be here all day, the racing's the forefront that gets the marketing out there. This is where that Bimota link comes into it. But it's all powered by Kawasaki, and that's not to change.
So we should suggest people listen to our adverts during the course of the day, because they change as the year goes on and your promos and offers change, but also head over to the Kawasaki website.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the best way to do it. You can see where your dealer's getting their next activity, next demo day and whatnot. And then whilst we've got the likes of Max throwing it on the box every weekend, that helps us as well. And Joe will be there. So, no, it's a really good year so far. It's very busy, lots of projects on. But it's hopefully people get to see, whether it be the race and whether it's to buy a KLE 500 from your dealer. Kawasaki is a brand that genuinely care about the whole of the business, the whole of the industry, all of our customers. And you know, if you want to be part of the team, then get a Kawasaki. Simple as.
Plenty of guests here today.
Very much so. Yes,
Thought
very much. Yeah, they're very much so. But they're enjoying listening to you all day. We've got a speaker right near our
Have you?
Yeah,
No one's cut the wire yet, then?
No, that's coming. It's coming because it's at full maximum volume. But no, it's all good. So yeah.
Dean, thank you ever so much for joining us, as ever. And do let me know the next meeting that you're coming to for British Superbikes, and we'll get you up again. Dean Cluley, Kawasaki, here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki.
All the news, all the stars, all British Superbikes. This is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
On race weekends, every second counts. And so does the right bike insurance. Carol Nash is one of the UK's leading motorbike insurance providers, and we're proud to be the exclusive insurance partner of British Superbike. So, whether you ride a classic, a custom-built model or a high-performance superbike, we'll get you a tailored quote in minutes. For over 40 years we've been protecting bikes, and with 2 levels of cover to choose from, we've got your back. Don't miss out. Search Carol Nash.
The Ninja 125 and the Z125 have made a welcome return to the Kawasaki lineup for 2026, meaning there's never been a better time to learn to ride. If you're thinking of starting your biking journey this year, Kawasaki Rider Training Services provides professional training every step of the way. With schools located across the UK, visit learntoridewithkawasaki.co.uk to find your nearest venue and start discovering the benefits 2 wheels can bring.
Search for British Superbikes on YouTube on race weekends. You might like what you see. BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
Well, we're talking about legends this weekend here at Brands Hatch. And how do you like your legends? Thick and fast, I think we'll say on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki. The 2011 BSB champion has joined us up here in the commentary box. Surely, Tommy Hill, not the first time you've seen this view of Brands Hatch.
No, lovely view. Sun shines out, great crowd. So what more could you want? I mean, yeah, a few more podiums today and race wins from Carl will be nice. So, yeah, we'll see what this afternoon brings.
That may come, mightn't it? We're going to come to modern day in a couple of moments. But first of all, let's talk about you, a local lad from Beckenham. This had to be the place that you came as a youngster. Yeah, pretty special. 25 minutes down the road now. So it's always nice to come back to Brands. Obviously, I've got some not so good memories here, but also some very, very good memories. You know, winning the championship in 2011. Prior to that, I'd done a World Superbike wild card here, also with Factory Yamaha, and had some really good results. And yeah, the icing on the cake was the 2011 championship, and still one of the most talked about British Superbike races now. And just to jump a little bit further on down the line, obviously being involved in probably the other best Superbike race, and that was with Carl here 2 years ago. Just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was a very special moment for me, you know, witnessing that trackside rather than being on track.
So what gives us these tiny, fine margins when we get to the checkered flag? You've been involved in one of them here at Brands Hatch. What is it about this circuit and a couple of years ago, as you say, when Carl won his first championship, what gives it these close races?
I'd say the decider. You know, it's the final round, and you know, you've got a lot of riders out there that want to do themselves proud, and you know, I think also the championship rules, as we've seen, have changed a lot over the years, and especially for me, this was only year 2 of the championship rule change, and that was going down to the showdown. So
prior to that, it didn't quite work for me. I led the season quite a long way through in 2010 with Work Suzuki, my teammate Kageyama, and unfortunately for me, Kia and Ari come really good at the end in 2010 and cleared up at Alton Park, and that was a tough one to take, and got back to reality and got my head straight again, and then switched to Yamaha, and then all season we battled it out, and come to the last lap of a 27 race series, and you had two guys that had been through a lot of ups and downs. I mean, hopefully John's going to give me a bit of commission on this, but his book was amazing. I read his book, and John Hopkins has been through a lot, and I've been through a lot as well, and we had two guys, hammer and tong. Let's leave it all on the track, and if we come back alive, we come back alive, and we pushed every bit that we possibly could and overtook.
Is that the psyche before you go out?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I look back on the grid and I'm like, this is my day.
Wow.
I'm going to do this, and that's what it's about. A lot of sportsmen, sportswomen. It's about being confident in yourself, and I'm happy to say I was never arrogant. I always gave everyone the time, but when you're on the grid and you want to win, you've got to step up and I suppose become a little bit arrogant. And I thought today's the day. Let's do or die. Friends, family, all the input, the stress, the effort, you could say sometimes the breakup of our family as well. Just the stress that goes into this that could be, if you like, and it was a dream come true.
Did it make a difference being a local circuit, a circuit that you came to as a youngster?
Yeah, I mean, just to go right back, if you like, this is where it all started. So I raced motocross at quite a high level in schoolboy motocross, and unfortunately I had an accident at 14. I lost my spleen, my kidney, and punctured my lung, and I was on my deathbed, only had a few minutes to live, and as you normally do, you don't go and switch to playing chess. I turned to British Superbikes, and
unbelievable,
from motocross. So
what was the family reaction to that?
I don't know. I mean, when you get that buzz of racing bikes, you don't want to change it.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, there's nothing else that matches it. So we say I didn't give myself enough time, to be fair. I think probably 6-7 months, and probably should have had a few years off, but I turned up at Brands Hatch, never even rode a road bike before, but because I held an ACU license, they put me on the back of the grid, because I think lap 1 I crashed at Clearways because I didn't know how to turn the bike. It was right in the deep end, and back then the British Super Team Championship, Casey Stoner was racing, and it was a real feeder series, and being part of the British Superbike circus then, it was a big platform for young kids to try and showcase their ability and showcase their talent. And I didn't quite do that because I ended up in the bush a few times, but lucky enough they put me on the back of the grid there at Brands, coming out of Clearways, and I started my first weekend on a road bike here, and that was in 1999, and that was the last race of the season. And then in 2000 we joined the Super Team Championship full time, and that was my first year at British Superbike.
Youngest ever rider to start in the front row of a BSB race, weren't you?
Yeah, and also youngest rider ever to qualify pole position World Superbike. So there's a few nice little records I've got there. But it still throws people off when I say I stopped at 28 years old. So
I mean, it's something to give up something that you love and something that you are exceptionally good at, but also nice to be still involved in it. So instantly you became involved in it, but not from a rider's perspective.
Yeah, and still involved, and obviously, still alive and still here, and joints are a little bit sore, and definitely losing a few internal organs, but I'm still here today.
Can I just ask the question, Tommy? Yeah. I thought you needed a spleen.
No, you don't need a spleen. Obviously not. I'm here. I'm a bionic man. No.
Do you not need a spleen?
No, the spleen is definitely something you can live without, and one kidney. So if any of you out there think you might lose one, you'll be fine.
That's amazing.
So the spleen generally is an immunity support. So it helps fight off bacteria.
Right. So do you have to be careful about?
I generally try to look after myself. I try to have a healthy diet, if you like. So it's a bit of a tough one to live with. All these ailments, but. Poor wife, eh? She has to deal with me every day.
Wow. It really is quite an incredible story. I remember I had an operation on my tummy a few years ago, and the lady that was going to operate on me, she said, we're going to do it all with sort of remote arms and keyhole surgery, all that kind of stuff, and you'll be fine, as long as I don't nick your spleen. if I nick your spleen, then I'm going to pull you apart.
Yeah. So that's haunted you, is it, today?
Yes, it has. It's worried me.
Well, I can't give you mine. I'm not going to sell you mine because I haven't got one. So, yeah, I remember I arrived back from the hospital on my deathbed, and my dad said, "Does anyone want steak and kidney pie?" Yeah, joke didn't go down too well, but onwards and upwards from there, really. Yeah, but obviously I've had a lot of injuries since then. You know, I've been in a wheelchair for 10 weeks and broken femurs in the World Super Sport Championship, and still at the back of your mind. I mean, I rode for 4 years with metal rods in my femurs, so you could say for a lot of riders they wouldn't want to be doing that, but. Yeah, there's a lot of things you go through, ups and downs. It's bike racing, but ultimately we're still here and I'm still involved.
Yeah, still involved. And your role with the team and with Kyle at the moment, just explain to everybody what the role is.
Yeah, so I do variations of things. You could call me a jack of all. I like to say I'm a master of a few of them as well. I try my best. But so I look
You're
after...
You're a modest guy, aren't you, Tommy?
I look after all the graphic side, social media, the design content, clothing, anything to do visually I look after, but also work closely with Kyle as well, act as a rider coach within the team, but also manage Kyle. Does Kyle need much coaching at the moment? I mean, he's riding on a crest of a wave.
Isn't he,
We've
just?
all known the talent that he's got, and I could see that at 14, So going back a few years, me and Kyle were actually on the grid here with our first championships, and he was 14 years old, and I'd won the British Superbikes, and back then, he won the would have been 125 championship. So fond memories for us here at Brands, and I'm involved with Kyle now on Kyle's side of the garage. It's a great buzz. It keeps me involved, but if I'm honest, I'm here today and I do miss racing today.
Do you?
Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I generally keep myself busy. I do guest tours as well for our sponsors and people that are involved. So.
But I'm sure that you were really helpful to him that first year, lining up for 3 races that would decide whether he became champion for the first time. You've been there, you've done it. Surely you were able to help quite a lot with his mental approach to the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, as you said then, I do try to take a modest approach. I mean, we are all part of this jigsaw puzzle, and I am a piece of that jigsaw puzzle. Whether I say I'm a small bit or a bigger bit, it is what it is, and people make up their own opinion on that. But yeah, it's important thing for me, for Kyle's side to be calm, and it's calm. He's got a great bunch of guys behind him. Great team, and we try and create that environment because it's important that we keep ourselves mellow and linear, because before you know it, you can escalate things as a rider and cause a bit of a calamity on your side of the garage. I have as well myself. You can easily affect your crew and your side of the garage, but Carl's cool, calm and collected. He's riding fantastic at the moment, and when I go out on track to watch him and bring back information, you are trying to find fine hairs within what he's doing, how he's riding, his riding style. But I'm in awe of watching Carl when I watch him out on track. And unfortunately at the moment, for everyone else, you've got the best rider in the championship, in my opinion, on the best bike.
Having watched racing for many, many years, I've seen this thing about confidence. And once you win your first race or you win your first title, then it sort of propels you onto a different level, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, getting that monkey off your back, if you like. And deep down, we all knew Kyle's ability. When I joined the team all them years ago, in 2022 it was now, we know how fast Kyle is, and it's just implementing them few areas where to fine tune and I'm going to say it, polish Kyle up a bit. He loved playing his snooker and loved the occasional pint, if he doesn't mind me saying, and he enjoyed his racing, but just to be that little bit better.
Do you have to rein that back? Do you have to sort of?
Yeah, but Kyle, I loved Kyle's approach as well, and almost it was the complete opposite of me. I'd arrive back home on Sunday night and I'd be doing my full race reports and I'd be talking to my crew chief on Monday, but I was so in the moment all the time. Yes. It's nice to be able to remove yourself, and Kyle's fantastic at that, and it works great for him. So
I spoke to him last weekend at Donington World Superbikes, where he was there, with his mates essentially, and just taking it all in. And he said that so that was the week after Snetterton, and by Tuesday evening he'd played 4 rounds of golf.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, not only is that good for the mental aspect, relaxing and sort of, but still being competitive and keeping that edge.
Yeah, he loves his golf. We try not to mention the word golf too much around.
Do you play golf?
No, unfortunately, I don't have the time. So he's always on a golf course. He loves his golf, and he definitely needs to keep himself busy, which again is great. And as I said, you know, if he can separate the racing life and the pressure of a race weekend and then go back and switch off from it, that's great. You know, and that's something that I didn't do, but I wish I did do, because I believe I would still be racing now.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, so I mean,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
to hear.
I mean, stopping at 28 years old is pretty young, you know. And a lot of riders still say, "God, I can't believe that you stopped at 28." But the amount of energy and effort and drain that I put into being to where I felt like I needed to be,
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting, you know. And doing that from 5 years old, and also, you know, looking at the injuries that I sustained, it was tough, you know. But the mere mortals out there, you guys watching, I mean, it's a dream job, but it depends what side you see to that. And yeah, I mean, I loved it the time that I was doing it. I would have liked to enjoy it a bit more, but you know, I went racing to try and win.
You enjoy it retrospectively, presumably.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite nice to see that Carl's approach, relaxed approach, and it's definitely paying off for him.
Can I talk about you as a rider and the Brands Hatch circuit? Every rider, every driver talks about they love a circuit that undulates, goes up and down, and flows. This has got everything, hasn't it? Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, it's got a mixture, and it gets to a point where you've got a track of two halves. You know, you flow through paddock, obviously down. You're just stopping it at Druidge. You're trying to square it off and get it on the fat part of the tyre to try and find the grip and fire it down to Graham Hill Bend. Stopping in here to Surtees, and then as soon as you come out onto the back straight, it's amazing. It opens up, and you've got that flow. Carl's riding fantastic out the back there. He's got a lot of corner speed and momentum running it through the turns. And
do you go out the back to watch him?
I do, yeah. Obviously, they've got quite a bit of mesh fencing up there, so it's quite difficult now to try and get close to see what's going on. But it's a special track, and it's a track that I generally don't hear anyone not like him, but you know, back when I was riding, we had the Indy track as well.
So you came to Brands 3 times, didn't you, in one championship season? Once on the Indy and twice on the Grand Prix circuit.
So the Indy track was quite demoralising at times, because before you know it, you're 5-6 laps into a session, and you've almost got to a point where you're now really trying to find point 1, point 2. And everyone's so close. I remember one session there being, I think, 23, 24 riders within 0.8 of a second. So, yeah, pretty tough, demoralising circuit at the Indy track. So when they decided to switch it back and have 2 rounds at the full track, it's amazing. You know, it's great. So, yeah, it's a good track. It's, you know, one in the history books a lot for World Superbike Championships as well, when we had 130,000 people here. So, yeah, pretty special place for everyone.
Tommy, how do you go from being a motorcycle champion to graphic design? Was that something that was always there?
Yeah, believe it or not, you know, I was not the best kid at school, but I loved graphic design, loved artwork, and it was always something that I was passionate about, stickers and bike graphics, and the company that I actually done a little bit of work experience for was at a motocross show, and yeah, loved it from there. And then I've always had a little bit of business on the side and produced some stickers since 16 years old. And it's nice to have something to fall back on. You know, a lot of riders will finish their stint, if you like, in bike racing and scratch their heads and not have anything else to do. But I've always had something else to do, and being involved in the sport, still producing bike graphic kits and design work. And yeah, it's nice to try and merge and I suppose, you know, bring all them things together in one entity with the team that I'm working with as well. But I do work with a few other teams.
I was going to say, you do a lot, don't you?
Yeah, it's nice. It's and as I say, 70% of my work is involved in bike industry. So yeah, long may it continue. But it's still nice to get that buzz and come racing at the weekend and be involved with Carl and the team. And
do you still live for it? Do you still sort of count down that? Yeah, you do.
I really do. I really do. You know, and sometimes I think, do I want to win more than other people? It's it's a great thing to have, and people say, well, that's probably what got you to where you were in racing, and having that drive and energy and the want to win. But sometimes it's a hindrance to me. You know, I need to sometimes take a bit of a back step and go, actually, you know, I'm getting a bit older now. I'm 41. just forget about it, you know. But I get out on a push bike and I still want to push.
You want to push and push.
Yeah, and get in the car and my wife's like, just calm down, there's no rush. You know, we're just chilling. I'm like, no, we need to get there. Yeah, it's just how I am, I suppose, and it's probably how I'll always be. But hopefully, in the next few years, I'll slow down a little bit, really.
Let me read you out a message that came in this morning. It kind of makes it all feel a little bit more real. It says, this is from somebody that calls themselves Steph Lad. And Steph says, good morning, everyone. Could I say hello to Tommy Hill, please? And a big thank you for signing my hat and jacket. It's taken me all these years with Tommy's Swan Yamaha jacket to get his autograph. There you go.
Wow,
making people happy. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, we see quite a few bikes, and especially the older bike like the Swan bike, or people have got, you know, replicas, and yeah, it's still nice. Thanks for still asking me for my autograph. It keeps me going, keeps me sane.
Steph, it's brought a smile to his face, that's for sure.
So it's pretty special. As I said, you know, we've always got stories to tell and things to chat about in the bike industry. But it's as I say, it's always great to come back to brands, still be involved in my graphic side of things, but also still be involved in the racing side, which is pretty special for me. It's keeping me going.
I'm looking at the time, Tommy. It's 12:15. You're counting down now, so just about 1 hour until we get our first Superbike race of today underway. What do you do with Carl in this sort of run-up?
So the sprint race doesn't really throw too many hurdles, but what it does do is create a vibe of probably 5 to 6 riders that all think they can win the race. So yeah, it should produce a great race this afternoon, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, generally speaking, it's a bit more intense. You've got, I'd say, be a bit more pinpoint perfect and accurate on your riding to be able to stay out in front. Scott, no doubt, is going to challenge him, but this morning Carl was riding really well and done a great time in morning warm-up on used tyres. So yeah, we almost go into the sprint race with a little less anticipation, I'd say, because you never really know what's gonna happen. So yeah, it's not the easiest place to pass around brands, but we should have some good racing this afternoon, and hopefully we'll be on the top step with Carl.
Tommy, one of our legends here at Brands Hatch this weekend. Thank you so much. Oh, I didn't even ask you about riding out around the circuit. Didn't last very long yesterday.
Didn't no one hear about that?
No. Didn't last as long as you wanted,
it's
did
a funny thing. It's like, you know, with these parade laps, you get on the bike and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should do it. Get on it, and what happens? Put the visor down. You think, come on, let me go. I want to have a few laps and let
bet
rip.
You did.
Yeah, some special memories on that bike, good and bad. But yeah, unfortunately, Neil had a bit of a mishap with the bike, and that cut it short. But yeah, it was nice to get back out on that bike and yeah, spin a lap and a half and park it back up again. Yeah, a bit of nostalgia. Lucky enough, I got back in them levers though. Bit of Vaseline, and I was back in those levers. I was back in them. It's nice to know you can still fit. It's helping Whittam do his up actually. He's probably having a giggle down there to do his levers up. Struggled to get in them.
I'm not surprised. It's been a while, hasn't it? Tommy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time out this morning and this afternoon as well, into the afternoon, to come and join us here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki. The 2011 BSB champion, Tommy Hill. Thank you very much indeed.
Online, on FM radio, and live streamed on YouTube, this is BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki, the sound of the British Superbike Championship.
Whether it's weekend tours or continent exploring, adventure comes for free with Kawasaki this summer. Purchase a 2025 model year Versys 650 or Versys 1100 and you can receive a free touring kit upgrade that includes a set of panniers and inner bags, tank pad and handguards. Plus, the machines are available on low-rate finance through Kawasaki K Options. Visit your local Kawasaki dealer to find out more.
R&G, the world leader in damage protection products for motorcycles, is back as an official sponsor to the British Superbike Championship for the 12th year. Alongside offering a full suite of R&G products, R&G's official technical centre is the one-stop shop for essential race products such as Easy Grip, Renthal sprockets, DID chains, Motul fluids, Alpine Stars protection and so much more. Located in the paddock at every round. Visit the R&G Technical Centre today for the latest essentials at the best prices.
The 2026 Zinn British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. 18 plus, Zinn is not risk-free and contains nicotine, which is addictive. Only for use by adults who would otherwise continue to smoke or use other nicotine products.
Powered by Kawasaki, this is BSB Radio.
Duncan Vincent has just come back to the commentary box with some great stories of his lunch break. I'm sure we'll hear them over the course of this afternoon. We are 20 minutes away from getting racing back underway. We will do so with the Rocket Off BMW F900R Cup, their main event, an 11-lap race here at Brands Hatch. And so good to catch up with the 2011 champion Tommy Hill as well. Such an eloquent speaker and a local lad as well. I'm very proud of him from just down the road in Beckenham. Right, loads of your messages have come in over the course of today. This one says, good luck CDH Racing today from the gang on Clearways. Jerry, Sue, Daryl, Batman, Noodles, Wendy, Paul, Amanda, Jay, Dolly and the kids as well. And a happy birthday 60+1 to Amanda from Mum and the BSB gang. Can't believe the confetti is still in the campsite from last year. There's a story behind that, that's for sure. Can you please do a shout out for Colin Port and say we've finally spotted you? The score is now 1 to Amanda, 0 to Gail. Also good luck to Harley Preble, Storm Stacey, Leanne Haslam and Blaze Baker. Thank you from Gail and Amanda. Thank you guys, thanks for writing in. And this one says, hi guys, just looking for a mention for James and Tracy, our first time at Brands Hatch as we've travelled down from Glasgow. Wow, well done. Sitting at Clark Curve, the circuit and the weather is fantastic. Looking forward to race day. Come on Kyle. And this one says, please can you wish a happy 50th birthday to Eddie from Isabella and Edward as well. Thank you very much indeed. And this one from Toby, shout out to my sister Beth, who last year spent more time sleeping back at the campsite. She's made it down to the pit straight this year, but the sleeping bag has still come down with her. Well, you want to be comfy, don't you? And this one says, would you be able to wish Holly a happy 16th birthday? Yes, of course, Julie. You are more than welcome. Holly, have a happy 16th birthday. Great to have you here at Brands Hatch, as indeed with all of you. Now, let me remind you of how you get in touch with us here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki. You WhatsApp us 07482 877 877 07482 877 877. That's how you get in touch with us here in the studio. We've got a few minutes before we get bikes back on the circuit to line up and get ready for our first race of the afternoon. And by the way, we're racing all the way from 20 to 1 when we get our Rocket Off BMW F900R Cup main event underway. Then we go to British Superbikes, and we were just hearing from Tommy about the sprint race, 12 laps around the Grand Prix circuit here at 1:20, and R&G Moto 4 British Cup 2 o'clock, 10 to 3 the Pirelli National Super Stocks, 20 to 4 the Quattro Group British Supersport Championship feature race, 18 laps, 20 laps at 4:30 for the Zim British Superbikes, and then at 5:20 the 1P Mobile National Junior Sport Bikes. That's how the afternoon is lining up. Loads more of your messages, and do you know what? Music always gets us in the mood for a bit of racing, and particularly when we've got a bit of a sunshine tune as well. Here on BSB Radio, powered by Kawasaki.
Inside my bones, it goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home, we're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop.